welcome to our official final episode of Tiny Bunny. I thought the last one was going to be our last one, but once I saw we were already at 2 hours, I was like, I'm going to have to split this in half. So today we are officially going to see the Alyssa storyline end, as well as some other endings. So we decided not to take our pills. We had to see Katia die yet again. We awoke to realize it was all just a dream. Alia was still with me on the floor, but not where I left her. She was now lying on my chest. As if while I was out, she woke up and tried to save me. By calling out to me. By getting me out of the clutches of horror with her scream. And then she lost consciousness again. I leaned in and slid my fingers across her warm cheek. The blizzard crashed at the windows. The clocks ticked loudly. Black figures moved toward the house, shrouded by darkness. They were hungry. They still waited for their treat. I needed help, so I ran into the hallway, slipping and sliding. Oh my gosh, please tell me we should have everything. We have all 5 evidences. I'm pretty sure there was only 5. Please tell me I was right. I clutched the phone. The speaker was silent at first, then barely audible beeps came through. I imagined the posts swaying in the wind, the wires ringing as they were able to be snapped in half by hungry jaws. My fingers spun the dial.
Алло!
Wait, he called Romka? Did I do something wrong again? Hello?
Рома, это я!
Roma, it's me.
Алло!
Hello? He couldn't hear me. I shouted in desperation.
Рома!
I got frequent beeps in reply. An anxious rustle arose as if the house was thrown into the forest. In its piney paws, it felt around the interior, trying to find a way to open the meat lockbox. I dialed Polina's number. The phone vibrated with beeps as short as my breath. The note. Okay, here we go. With Tikhanov's number that I had earlier came in handy. The dial creaked, measuring the numbers. I twirled the cord around my hand and prayed that the policeman was still at his station.
Старший лейтенант Тихонов слушает.
Senior Lieutenant Tikhonov on the phone. His voice battled its way to me through nature's wrath. It flowed down the icy
Это
wires.
Антон Петров!
Молодое дарование. Помню такого.
Ah, the art prodigy. I remember you.
Правда?
Really?
А то.
Of course.
Мы ж благодаря тебе задержали подозреваемого в похищениях.
Thanks to you, we managed to detain a suspect in the serial killer kidnapping case. My face elongated from surprise.
Задержали? Когда?
You detained him? When?
Сегодня днем.
This afternoon.
Стал голубчик неподалеку от кладбища, как заправский маньяк.
The chap wandered around near the cemetery just like a
А
serial
главное,
killer.
точная копия твоего фоторобота. Безбровый, зайчий губой.
He was the carbon copy of your drawing. No brows, hair lip, all that stuff.
Выясняем, кто он и откуда.
We're currently trying to identify him. My heart sank. So I put the police on the wrong trail when I drew that hulking man. And while I was being interrogated, the real killers creep closer and closer to our house.
Вдруг это не он?
What if it's not him?
Он родимый.
Oh, it's definitely him.
Пистолет при нем был с глушителем. Еще мясницкий тесак, да строительный скотч.
He had a silent gun on him along with the butcher knife and a bunch of duct
Прям
tape.
все как по учебнику.
Just like in the textbooks. How could it be? I thought in amazement, but the words I blurted out were different.
Товарищ милиционер, мои родители пропали.
Sir, my parents went missing.
Вы обязаны приехать и забрать меня с сестрой в участок.
You must come here and take my sister and me to the station.
Нам угрожает опасность.
We're in danger here.
Слушай, пацан, в данный момент опасность сидит за решеткой.
Listen, lad, the danger you speak of is currently behind bars.
Я ее сам скрутил мордой в пол.
I personally shoved its face in the dirt.
Но я видел.
But I saw. How a giant insect crawled out of a dog carcass. How Katia was ground up by giant
Видел
blades.
что?
What did you see?
Чудовищ в звериных масках.
Monsters in animal masks.
Приезжайте, умоляю вас.
Come, I beg you. A long pause
Да ты
followed.
вообще представляешь, сколько мне бумажной волокиты предстоит?
Do you have any idea how much paperwork I'm going to need to fill out now?
Содержание от тебе не хухры-мухры. А у меня всего 2 сотрудника, да и те еле на ногах держатся.
Making an arrest is an ordeal, a procedure, and I only have 2 people under me, and even they are barely holding up by now.
К тому же урод этот пока ни в чем не сознался.
Besides, this bastard hasn't even given us a
Ты
confession
понимаешь,
yet.
что от его признания зависят жизни похищенных детей?
Do you understand that the lives of those missing kids hinge on him confessing? The blood pulsating in my temple stunned me, made me blind. A scarlet flash of hysteria lighted up in my brain. Convince him or die. I went all in, fully aware that my and Alya's lives were at stake here.
Помните, вы рассказывали о своем племяннике, который хотел пойти в школу милиции и помогать людям?
Remember how you told me about your nephew who wanted to go to a police school to help people?
Помню.
Right.
А еще я помню, как просил тебя не совать нос куда
I
ни
also
следует.
remember that I asked you to mind your own business.
Мне хотелось помочь вам в поимке преступника, но теперь...
I wanted to help you catch the perpetrator, but now
Кажется, я знаю, что случилось с пропавшими детьми.
I think I know what happened to the missing kids. I was afraid that the lieutenant wouldn't let me finish, but he just remained silent in anticipation. The wind pulled at the wires.
Сенечка, Вова, Семен, Катя. Они все мертвы.
They're all dead.
Откуда такая уверенность? У тебя есть чем подтвердить свои слова?
Why are you so sure? Do you have any proof of that?
Первой была Сенечка, так?
Oh my god, here we go. Here we go. Then Chica went missing first, right?
У меня есть запись на видеокассете.
I have a videotape with a certain record.
Не знаю, что за передача и что за канал, но там репортаж о ней.
I don't know what program that is, and from what channel, but it's a report about her.
И о монстре, названном хозяином леса.
And the monster called the Forest Monster.
Не может быть.
Impossible.
Это
That
передача.
program? When it seemed like the pause was unnecessarily long, the lieutenant finally spoke
Я
up.
тоже ее видел.
I saw it too.
У меня тогда был сложный период. Ребенок этот пропал. У самих ни единой зацепки.
It
Еще
was a difficult
начальство
time
в
for
конец
me.
озверело.
That kid went missing. We didn't have a single clue, and the higher-ups were badgering
Вот
me.
я и пил, не
So I
просыпаясь.
hit the
А
bottle.
когда ночью поймал сигнал с той чертовой передачей про Сеню, думал, белая горячка пожаловала.
And when one night I caught the signal with that damn program featuring Sinya, I thought it was just a result of alcohol-induced delirium.
Сука, я даже в
Fuck,
область
I even went to the
катался
city to
телевизионщиков
interrogate the
пытать.
TV station,
Они мне
but they all told me they never
не
aired
было
anything
такого
like
бы. А ты
that.
говоришь, ее записал?
So you're saying you have it recorded?
Даже больше.
And that's not all.
В лесу, где заблудился Вова, я нашел варежку.
I found a mitt in the forest where Vova went missing,
И я клянусь вам, она кровоточила, пока я не принес ее домой.
and I swear blood was pouring out of it until I brought it
Ряд
home.
добровольцев из поисковых команд давали такие же показания.
Some volunteers from our search teams had the same
Мы тогда
experience.
подумали, что у них помешательство, и отстранили от поисков.
We thought they had a mental breakdown, so we disbanded them from further
Но ведь я
searches.
сам осматривал найденные вещи, и крови на них не было.
Besides, I examined all of the found items myself. There wasn't a spot of blood on them.
Черт-те что. Говоришь, варежка у тебя?
What the hell is going on? You have the mitten on you, right?
Да, и печатка Семена.
Yes, along with Simon's signet ring.
Так вот, куда она делась.
So that's where it
Ты
went.
осознаешь, Антон, что похитил улику?
Do you realize that you stole critical evidence, Anton?
Так приезжайте и арестуйте меня!
Then come here and arrest me. My voice rang out.
И это еще не все.
And even that's not all.
У меня хранится фотография с останками Кати.
I have a photo with Katya's remain.
Четвертой жертвы этих тварей.
We did it. Sherlock, you gathered all the evidence. Yay! She was the fourth victim of those creatures.
Поймите, наконец, спасти детей вам уже не удастся.
Just admit it, you're not saving those kids.
Они все мертвы, мертвы!
They're all dead. Dead.
Хотите, чтобы мы с сестрой пополнили список?
Do you want me and my sister to be added to that list? I noticed that I was shouting. Sweat appeared on my forehead. I only got hissing as a reply.
Алло! Алло!
In the kitchen, the fridge grumbled as it turned off. The lights went out, flinging me into complete darkness. But it only lasted for a moment. Only it seemed like the peculiar phantoms in my hallway that pretended to be shadows from my furniture creeped closer.
Мертвые к мертвому,
Ashes to ashes,
живое к живому.
dust to dust. I started whispering that useless chant, but stopped midway. Nature wailed on the other side of the door barrier. Whoever was walking toward the house, squeaking with the snow, wasn't my parents. They wouldn't crawl on our roof, scratching it with their claws. They wouldn't look into our kitchen windows. We need to barricade ourselves before it's too late. I chopped up the cabinet with an axe to acquire some building material. There was still some pus from the nasty thing that was inside the stray dog left on the blade. Metal nails dug into the wood. I slammed their heads with the axe's butt. I nailed the planks to the window frame, shielding the house from the horror creeping in the blizzard. Another window was barricaded with pieces of furniture. I pulled at them to check for integrity. I wandered around the house that seemed frighteningly big now and suffocated on the thought that I'll stumble into a scowling monster as I turn another corner. I would go to the kitchen but end up in the black garage pretending to be it. Frosty wind scratched at the door. Let us in. Something evil flashed in the gaps between the planks. Feed us. I sat on the stairs and fixed my gaze on the front door. With an axe on my lap, with the heart beating so hard, It could be used to hammer in nails. I sat and stared, my whole body shivering. I sat and stared, losing the last vestiges of my sanity. I sat and fell into slumber. I jumped up as if something bit me. My sleepiness was washed away by the incessant ringing of the doorbell. Tikhonov couldn't have arrived so fast. Did Dad return with the doctor? Or was it Mom carrying bags of medicine? Or maybe that hungry pack of animals showed up to dine. I sneaked around the hallway. The planks under my feet squeaked, giving me away.
Кто там?
Who's there? Silence. Or did somebody answer me but was silenced by the blizzard? It looks like two people. Is it Ramka and Bayasha? Is it both of them? I pressed my face against the peephole, but it was shaded with rime. There were only blurry, barely discernible silhouettes on the porch. Were they wearing masks? Probably not. I had an equal chance of getting help from these night guests or being torn to pieces right in the hallway. I want to know who it is. My heightened senses told me that whoever was outside wasn't an enemy. I clenched my jaw until it hurt, ready to hack at the rotting moths. Then spun the lock. Oh! Romeo and Juliet, you let your friends in. Whoa, it's Ramka and Polina. Two hunched figures tumbled into the open door. Two people hopping on the spot from the freezing cold outside. Snow fell from their clothes and shoes. Their teeth chattered.
Дрова колешь? У вас камин есть?
Were you chopping firewood? Do you have a fireplace? I lowered the axe and rushed to hug my friends.
Эй, задушишь! Чё на тебя нашло?
Hey, you're gonna suffocate me. What's wrong with you, dude?
Как вы здесь оказались?
How did you end up here? I was happy like a death row convict who got their execution delayed.
Сбежали из дома.
We ran away from home.
Надеялись, метель утихнет.
We hoped the blizzard would die down, but it only got worse.
Еле дошли к тебе.
We barely made it to your place.
А ты чего устроил?
What's with all this shit? Roma stared at the kitchen door.
С окнами?
The windows.
Ветер разбивал стекла, ну, я и укрепил.
The windows crashing them, so I reinforced them.
Надо же!
Wow.
Я думала, раз ты человек творческий, то руками работать не умеешь.
I thought that since you're a man of arts, you're not that good at physical labor. I looked down in embarrassment and Ramka slapped my shoulder.
Наш Антон все умеет.
Anton here is good at everything,
Сватать так точно.
especially in matchmaking. Only now did I notice the puffed up bags on the back of my friends and realize what ran away from home really meant. That actually makes sense though. Ramka doesn't want to be here anymore. He lost Bayasha. And when we went on a date with Polina, she threw herself at us, begging us to run away together and leave. So that actually makes sense.
Так вы насовсем?
So you're not coming back?
Ага, с концами.
Yep, never.
Я кое-какие шмотки загнал, чтобы на плацкарт до губернии хватило.
I pawned some of my old stuff to get enough cash to take us to the city.
А там у меня дядька кабак держит, обещал пристроить.
My uncle owns a barn there. He'll give us a corner for the time being.
Так что вся на мази.
So we're A-okay.
Я из города дедушке позвоню, все ему объясню.
Once we get there, I'll call Grandpa and explain everything to him.
Оставаться здесь уже невыносимо.
We can't stay here anymore.
Разве ты не понимаешь?
Don't you get it? I could see that Polina was afraid of the future, but I also saw genuine happiness in her eyes. I wanted to draw her like this, frozen in time on this doorstep between her old and new life. She was throwing herself into the ocean of the unknown, disappearing in it. This is the last time I see both of them. They're going to leave and grow together. And I'll stay here in a house with barred windows at the precipice between the world, at the edge of the ancient forest.
Мы попрощаться пришли.
We came to say goodbye.
Слышь, а родаки твои где?
Yo, where are your old people? He frowned. His gaze wandered between the axe and the dark staircase.
Что вообще происходит?
What the fuck is going on here? I leaned against the railing. I wanted to share things that weighed on me, pushed me to the ground so
Оля
badly.
заболела.
Alia got sick.
Папа за врачом поехал, а мама в аптеку.
Dad went to the doctor and Mom went to buy medicine.
Давно, часов 6 назад.
A long time ago. 6 hours already.
6 часов? А ты звонил в милицию?
6 hours? Did you call the police?
Ага.
Yeah.
Сказали, что мама с папой скоро приедут. Сказали, дороги замело.
They said Mom and Dad will return soon, that the roads are just snowed in.
Я ждал, а потом задремал на ступеньках, и ночь наступила.
I waited and waited, then fell asleep on the stairs, and the night came.
А тут вы.
And then you guys came. The fleeting idyllic moment was interrupted by Alya's strained voice.
Они уже здесь. Прогони их. Тоша, пожалуйста.
They're already here. Chase them away, Tosha, please.
Там на полу твоя сестра?
Is that your sister on the floor?
Да, ей не здоровится.
Yeah, she's not feeling well.
Вы плохие. Уходите.
You're bad. Go away. Alya's mind was ravaged by fever, infesting her mind with horrific vision that would make blood freeze in one's veins.
Ты нам чего-то не договариваешь.
You're not telling us the whole truth. Ramka studied me with a watchful stare. He'd been in the garage himself, so he knew a lot, but not everything.
Мне кажется, зря вы пришли этой ночью.
I think you picked a bad night to come here.
Мы в опасности.
We're in danger.
Кто-то ходит снаружи.
Someone's snooping about outside,
Ищет, как бы попасть в
looking
дом.
for a way to get in. Polina covered her mouth with her hand.
Маньяк!
Is that the serial killer?
Если бы.
I wish. A deafening thud could be heard from outside.
Мамочки!
Oh no!
Тише ты. Это же просто ветер, так?
Pipe down. It's just the wind, okay? It might have also been a lamplight that was uprooted under the blizzard's pressure. Ramka dropped off the backpack. Polina followed suit.
Нас трое. Мы вооружены. Да и окна заколочены.
There's 3 of us here, we're armed, and the windows are barred.
Здесь мы в безопасности.
We're safe here. And then the lights went out. The fridge rattled as it shut down. Darkness splashed from all the nooks and crannies, devouring Ramka and Polina. I blinked like crazy, clutching the handrail. The blizzard's moans intensified.
Твою же...
What the? He clicked with the lighter. The lighter spewed sparks, leaving a metallic smell in Ramka's fingers, but it didn't produce a flame.
Ребята! Слышите?
Boys? Can you hear that? Her expressive eyes widened in silent horror.
Звук флейты.
The flute. Somebody started pounding on the door. I backed into the wall from surprise. A hail of strikes was unleashing on the door, bending it like a thin sheet of plywood, as if dozens of fists and legs were simultaneously punching and kicking the wood.
Это они!
It's them!
Они!
Them! The door danced in the doorway. Dust flew from the platband beds. Ramka's eyes popped out. Polina shrieked hysterically, her face buried in her palms. The rumbling noise stopped as suddenly as it started. The black crucifix flew off the nail and crashed into the floor at my feet. A chain of anxious memories rushed through my mind. Ringing bells from the small abandoned church at the edge of the village, the dusty icons on the far shelves in my parents' bedroom, my grandma's warding chants. I wanted to believe that the cross could protect us from the horror of things that came from the frosty forest. That in the world where the carnivorous monsters roam the night, there is a place for sacred wards that grant salvation from sharp claws and fangs. Oh, we are definitely taking it. I grabbed the cross without thinking. Exorcist, you took the cross. I was ready to ask God for help, especially when a horned shadow that wanted to confine us to hellish torture walked around outside. I rushed to the kitchen as I pushed my friends to the side. I heard a heart-rending squeaking sound, as if someone was driving their claws in the wall. Then, the flapping wings. The night churned like a giant stomach. And then, they hatched from shadows, nasty mugs and gaps in the floors. They pressed against the windows, leaving pus and squashed magically on the glass. Crooked fingers scraped against the glass. Bared fangs scratched away the rind. Lines of teeth bared themselves in the gaps, haunted. Eyes shone from left and right. Dead beasts stared at us from the outside and smirked. Open up, buddy. We're hungry. We want to. Please. We want to. Now you're here. Dance with us, bunny boy. Dance in blood, long-haired fool. Let us rest in your hot guts, in your hot blood. Lena wailed, plugging her ears with her hands.
Пусть они уйдут!
Make them go away.
Пусть они замолчат!
Make them shut up. Their eyes shone like stars in the pitch black sky. Glass popped in the kitchen. The invading wind played with our hair. It brought a flute melody, quick and slippery like a poisonous viper. The monsters thrust their paws into the gaps between the planks, clicked with their claws, demanding their treat. A huge deformed hand held out a bunny mask, full of burrows from worms, to no one in particular. Sate our hunger. Carve us a slice. Buddy, show yourself. Be brave. Give the beasts fresh meat they crave. I plugged my ears with my fingers. The nasty voices subsided, only to be replaced by another sneering voice.
Ты должен, ты обязан кормить.
Anton, you must.
Или сам стать
Or become the
мясом.
meat yourself.
Твоя очередь.
It's your
Посмотри на
turn.
меня.
Look at me. I shifted my gaze to the axe. The blade reflected my twisted face. I couldn't recognize it.
Вот так.
Yes, just like that. The voice pleaded sweetly.
Выбирай тщательнее. Не дай себя убить.
Choose carefully. Don't get killed. Right in front of me, illuminated by the moonlight and the blade, sharp claws, was a silverly bunny mask.
Наше настоящее лицо.
Our true face.
Оно поможет отомстить нам тем, кто бил и унижал нас.
It will help us get revenge on those who hit and bullied us.
Поможет стать настоящим собой.
It will help us to become who we truly are. I grabbed the mask frantically, as if it was more expensive than any of the game cartridges in the world, and hid it under my vest, closer to my belly. I was probably not acting on my own accord, but I didn't care. My friends stood with their backs turned toward me, covering themselves in an animalistic horror, and my little sister snored innocently as she slept on the
Никто
floor.
меня не видит. Значит, самое время выбрать жертву.
Nobody can see me, and that means it's time to choose the sacrifice. Can I choose myself? The dog meat. But it's not in there anymore.
Сейчас!
Wait up, I'll be right back. I needed to buy time. I needed to save not only my little sister, but also my friends. I flung open the freezer and dug out a frosty bloodstained
Тоха,
sack.
ты куда?
What are you doing, Toha?
Не приближайся!
Stay away.
Береги Полину и Олю.
Guard Polina and Alya. My tone of voice, commanding, firm, surprised me. I guess I was more like my father than I expected.
У меня есть угощение!
I have a treat for you.
Эй!
I screamed, clutching the remains of a parasite that made its home inside Zulka. The house wobbled like a bad tooth. The base of the house screeched. The draft hit my
Я
face.
покормлю вас, обещаю! Только оставьте нас в покое!
I'll feed you, I promise. Just leave us alone. The blizzard purred like a cat that was tired of playing with the mouse. Give, give, give. Before Romka could realize what was going on, I opened the front door. I couldn't see anything because of the blizzard, but I knew. Black, barely discernible silhouettes stood in the snowy field a couple of steps away from me. They stood there patiently waiting for me to throw them the promised meat. Hot dog. You used a dog as a sacrifice. Oh, I hope that's a good thing. I threw the dog meat into the wind, shut the door, and ran toward the window. It looks like it worked. Carnivorous shadows lunged at the remains of their own kin, tore the cloth, and bit into the meat. They tore and swallowed, raising their heads toward the dark sky.
Нажритесь же вы!
Feast all you want, but it wasn't enough for them. The bear was the first to jump away from the feast. He fell on one side and started dangling his legs. It would have looked funny if his movements weren't as scary. Nast. Chewed up sludge dripped from its maw. Rot. Not tasty at all. They pleaded and howled, dragging their bellies on the snow around the carcass. The bear, standing on all fours, started burying meat in the snow. I almost screamed when multiple pairs of burning eyes turned toward me. The beast rushed to the barricades, and I jumped back to my friends. Claws slashed at the wood, pulled on the planks, but the pieces of broken furniture held firm.
Что им надо?
What do they want?
Им нужен я! Оля! Каждый из нас!
Me, Alya, all of us. Paws invaded the house and slapped on the walls. Saliva splashed everywhere, the jaws clicked. The boards held firm, making the monsters let out frenzied roars. Let us in. We want to eat. If you don't give us some raw meat, we'll eat it roasted. We'll peel the crust off you, sweeties. A tiny light flashed from behind the boards. The hunch of what was about to happen put me to the floor, but Polina was the first to voice it.
Они нас сожгут!
They'll burn us alive! Burn bright, burn clear.
Стойте здесь!
Stay here. I acted quickly as I could. It felt like someone more determined and agile was dormant in me all this time. I put the axe down, retrieved Olya from the blanket cocoon. She squinted, still half asleep.
Те плохие зверюшки.
Is it them? Those bad animals?
Не бойся, все хорошо.
Don't worry, everything's fine.
Не тронут нас.
They won't lay a finger on us.
Еще как тронут.
They will.
Пожалуйста, не думай об
Please
этом.
don't think about it. When I covered Olya with the coat, the air became hot, almost
О
scorching.
чем думать?
What should I think about then? The burning wood crackled. The smell of ashes scorched my lungs. I wiped away the sweat from my face with my shoulder. The smoke was already snaking its way toward our feet on the floor. We needed to hurry, but I couldn't succumb to panic in front of my little sister.
Помнишь, как мы отдыхали на даче?
Remember how we hung out on the dacha?
Помнишь, каким был крыжовник?
Remember what the gooseberries were like?
Кис,
Sour. Her face shrank,
А вода в колодце.
and the water in the well.
холодный. Но мне ее пить не разрешали.
Cold, but they didn't let me drink it. Something cracked and fell with a thud on the other side of the wall. Shadows flashed in the gaps. The beasts were dancing in a burial roundelay. My fingers clutched the axe's handle. A pitiful defense against those who came from below.
Быстрее!
Hurry up!
Крыша вот-вот обвалится!
The ceiling is about to collapse.
А малину помнишь?
Do you remember the raspberries? I do.
Я тогда про малину думать.
I'll think about them then.
Думай и не оборачивайся.
Think about it and don't look around. I held the weakened Olya to my chest while clutching the axe in my right hand. The smoke assaulted my eyes. It eddied on the first floor, rancid and stinky.
Зачем дышать? Мы задохнемся!
I can't breathe. We're gonna suffocate. Olya went to a coughing fit and looked at Polina and Romka.
Вы Тошины друзья?
Are you Tosha's friends?
Где ваши маски?
Where are your masks?
Скажи, что здесь есть черный ход!
Say, do you have a back door here?
Есть! За мной!
We do. Follow me. I kicked the door open, swung with the axe at the empty air just in case. The porch was empty. Still, we could only see some 20 feet in front of us. The wall of snow blocked out everything past that point.
Отставайте!
Keep up! And we ran like never before. A yellow glow illuminated the road. The flames snuck into the empty house. The sooty glass cracked and sprayed from the windows. Olya could barely move her legs. Sometimes I picked her up and carried her in my arms with her boobs dangling in the air. But even despite that, Polina still couldn't catch up to us. It was even lighter outside now. I didn't look back, but I had a good idea of how our house turned to a huge fire. How the fire devoured my paintings, my VHS tapes, the furniture, and our clothes. The flames roared in a choir with the freezing wind. Sparks flew in the sky. Something huge flew past us in the blizzard. A sudden gust of wind tore the hat off Olya's head and carried it into the hungry darkness, but I didn't dare look back. We jumped over a fallen post. It felt like dozens of hornets stung my cheeks. The frost ravaged my skin. My lungs were on the verge of bursting. I slowed down to catch my breath, and in that moment, Olya fell to the ground. Her hand slipped out of mine. Then Polina shrieked. The girls were floundering in the snow like it was a mire. The field was on the side of the monsters. Polina sank up to her waist, Olya up to her shoulders. With every new push, they were only sinking more. I froze in place, devoured by fear, watching the ugly, horrific figures turn around and sink. And then immediately rush at us with all their might, all their limbs digging in the snow. And I saw their hungry maws devour crooked stumps, molehills, and the prints were left in the snow. One moment of weakness and the endless night would lock us in its deadly embrace forever. Tosha, help me!
Оля, не бросай меня!
Anton, please, don't leave me behind. We have to choose? Oh, that is messed up, but you already know I'm choosing Olya. I dropped the axe and fell to my knees, my numb fingers clutching Olya's collar. One wrong move and my boot would fall into the snowed-in hole. There will be nobody left to save my sister.
Держись, Оленька!
Family, you rescued Olya. Hold on, Alya. Romka rushed toward Polina and held her by the armpits, putting all her strength into trying to free
Я с
her.
тобой!
I'm here. The beast rushed toward us with the raging fire in the background, their shadows covering the ground like massive carpets. The girl screamed, breathing in the snowy trap.
Брось ее и беги.
Abandon her and run, whispered the voice in my head. Run, long ears, escape. I screamed as I pulled the Alya out. Romka helped Polina stand up at the same time. Everyone's okay.
Прости меня. Я обещала думать о малине.
Sorry, I promised to think of raspberries.
Ничего, солнышко.
That's okay, sweetie. The pack was catching up to us. I could see the glint in their hungry eyes.
Хватай топор и бежим!
Hurry, grab the axe and run. The wind slashed at our backs in anger. The heart-rending howl was getting closer and closer. Suddenly, my leg got stuck in the roots. Sharp pain pierced my foot. I knew we were doomed, but I acted cool. One step, then another. My twisted ankles sent rockets of pain into my brain. Alya turned around, all around, and moaned from horror. I didn't want to know what she saw. The tree stepped out of the darkness. The thin country road snaked between the snags and roots. This is where we'll die. My sister felt incredibly heavy all of a sudden. My lungs resisted the torture. We couldn't run anymore. We waddled. Polina was mumbling something in desperation. I stood up wheezing. A pair of glowing eyes lit up in the shadows of the tree line. They were getting closer with insane speed. Three more pairs of eyes were catching up, growing in size. We're surrounded. I clutched the axe with both of my hands, ready to fight until the last drop of my blood. Romka hesitated for a moment. He stood to the side as if pondering whether he should risk his life for us. He shifted his gaze between Alya and me for a while, then stopped at Polina, swore under his nose, and took out his knife.
Ну вот и все, да? Это конец?
Well, this is the end, right? And then we were blinded by the light. I covered my face with the axe, and the next moment I realized that those were the lights of a car jumping on the bumps. It was a police car. We're saved! The UAZ jumped out in front of us. Its drive immediately slammed the brakes, opening the door on the go. It was Chekhanov. He stared at us in disbelief.
Они тут! Убийцы тут!
They're here! The killers are here!
Машину! Живо!
Get in the car, now! The car light fought against a flood of darkness. I made sure the girls got inside, then let Romka pass. Red lights glimmered behind the bushes. The trees, those crooked witches, towered over the UAZ. I finally got into the car myself and slammed the door shut. At the same time, something jumped on the side window. Claws screeched against the glass.
Какого?
What the?
Гоните!
Floor it! The lieutenant pressed on the gas. Snow splashed from under the tires. If the car gets bogged down, we'll get torn to pieces. Oh my god, this is amazing. This is amazing. They didn't stop when he came. He got to see the monster claw. I was not expecting him to be able to see it. I thought only the kids would be able to see it. Filthy dead beasts crawled in beams of the lights. Something pounded on the ceiling. They're above us. The UAZ took off, driving over something with a crunching sound. Yeah, get them. Without asking questions, Chekhanov spun the wheel and drove the car along the tree line. The speedometer's needle swung to the right. The engine let out healthy hums. Then an owl flashed before the windshield. I turned around and lost my speech. Mere inches away from us was the worm-ridden face of a bear. He jumped on three of his paws right behind the accelerating car, and the fourth paw he used to try and grab the side of the car. The car lights shot through the darkness. We were driving down a forest tunnel. Branches scraped at the car's body, and the mass beaters jumped parallel to the road. They couldn't catch up to us. I shouted in jubilation. We did it! The car jumped over a bump. Its wheels started wobbling in the snow. And then it flew down a ditch. Fuck. The world spun, cut into slices by beams of light. Alya hit her head multiple times and started crying. I hit the back of the seat in front of me with my temple. The axe ricocheted off the roof, arching through the air, and got stuck on the floor between the policeman and me. And then a loud bang. The UAZ froze in place. It no longer moved.
Черт, черт, черт!
Shit. Chekhanov tugged at the ignition.
Долбаная колымага!
Goddamn piece of junk.
Двигатель сдох!
The engine's dead. He hit the wheel in frustration.
Все целы!
Are you guys okay? Romka whispered through his teeth.
Целый.
We're fine. Polina spoke through tears.
Да.
Yeah. I felt my whimpering sister all over.
Больно?
Are you hurt?
Забери меня отсюда!
Take me away. Squirting tears ran down her
Заберу.
cheeks.
Клянусь.
I will, I swear. Tikhonov gave up on the ignition and looked ahead. The car lights illuminated slabs of granite and twisting crosses. The graveyard. The video we saw. We intruded on the village graveyard. I remembered the camera that flew over these graves and the bloodied rags in the snow. Events of the previous week flashed in front of my eyes in a procession of horrific images. Did my grandma, who was buried here all along with her useless chants, know about the evil that lurks among the pines? Under the blanket of frozen soil, my grandma was protected from this madness. But the photograph from her gravestone will be forced to helplessly watch the bloody massacre when the beasts get to her grandkids. I pressed my boot into the seat, touched the handle, and pulled out the axe like a tooth from a dead giant's mouth. We crawled out of the mangled car. The police lights rhythmically illuminated the gravestones, filling their surroundings with breathing shadows. I knew that some of those shadows were alive, hungry, and had sharp fangs. Like the one that flashed behind the crooked hedge. I wobbled toward the
Они
officer.
здесь.
They're here. Tikhonov didn't reply. I watched in stupor as he unstrapped the rifle with a foldable stock. It was the first time I saw the legendary, I don't know how to say that, Kalashnikov this close. The lieutenant reloaded the rifle in one smooth automatic motion. I shuddered from the click.
Разберемся.
No biggie.
И не таких мочили.
I've handled bigger fish than that.
Вы не понимаете.
You don't
Это
get
не
it.
просто какой-то маньяк с тесаком.
This is not just some serial killer with a butcher
Они не
knife.
люди, а чудовища в масках.
They're not human. They're mass monsters.
В масках?
Masked what?
Не может быть.
Impossible. That was all a dream. The flute played in the shadows. It seemed like some sort of switch was flipped inside Tikhonov's head. He stood there, stiff as a board, his mouth ajar, and stared into empty space. What happened to him? Was he scared? He's possessed, maybe, too? The rifle swung freely on its strap. It's as if the officer was having a stroke all of a sudden. I read about that in an encyclopedia.
Константин Владимирович.
Right now, Tikhonov scared me more than the darkness between the crosses. Polina squealed and pressed herself into Romka. Alya, who was left in the car, covered her ears with her hands.
Слышите? Оттуда!
Can you hear it? There! They're here. I don't see Alyssa. The blizzard's wings hurled blankets of snow toward the sky, bearing the landscape as sticking out crosses. A tall figure wearing a goat mask stood between a pair of graves. Okay, I have to say, this looks so goofy. Look how tiny they look compared to him. Puffed up Hootie was on his right. Dancing Teddy was on his left. They looked like demons in the car lights. The goat spread his arms, palms toward me, the police officer, and my friends. The horrific monster's posture was filled with grace. He towered over the crosses like an ancient graveyard statue. Snowflakes stuck to the decrepit bear and owl masks. His insinuating voice was barely audible, but at the same time it sounded louder than the wind.
Столько мертвых в этой земле.
So many dead in the soil. Endless death.
Почва, промерзшая до костей.
The soil frozen to the bone.
Игра слов.
Wordplay.
Время для игр и забав.
Time to play and have some fun.
Секс.
Shush. The bear covered the lower part of his mask with his paw.
Детишки. Бедные детеныши.
Children. Poor babes. Polar cold emanated from the tall figure. The goat pointed at me with his long finger, and even though there was a sizable distance between us, I felt like the monster's claw dug into my stomach. No, into my soul. His hand slid to the right. With a gracious gesture, the goat traced an arch in the air toward Polina and Romka and Alya sitting in the car too.
Отступники. Мелкие предатели.
Heretics. Puny betrayers.
Полюбуйтесь на себя.
take a look at yourself. You shiver from fear, yet you could be the one instilling it. Spread out fingers clutched into a fist. I snuck a glance at Sakhanov and spoke to him in my mind. Don't just stand there, you're an adult, remember? You have a gun. Yet it seemed like Sakhanov turned into just another kid in the clutches of fear. His pale face reflected heavy pounding, as if he was trying to remember something important.
Я больше не нуждаюсь в вас.
I have no...
Дети.
I have no use for you anymore, worthless children. The leader's voice warped, filled with derision.
Стая почти в сборе.
The pack is almost ready. The bone flute produced a whiz like that of a whip. Silhouettes of kids immediately changed into disfigured beasts, filling the surroundings with the cracking of bones and yelps of pain.
Мои куколки. Мои прожорливые детеныши.
My little dogs, my hungry cubs.
У вас могло быть все.
You could have had everything.
Сила, свобода, власть.
Strength, freedom, power. You could have become the wind inside the black treetops.
Темнотой, что ложится на пушистый снег.
The darkness that descends on the fluffy snow.
Вы могли допрыгнуть до звезд.
You could have jumped to the stars and tasted them. I gulped, taking a quick glance at the tiny silhouette inside the police car.
Антон,
I immediately staggered away on instinct. When the goat said my name, his mouth filled with saliva.
ты мог быть ночным зайчиком. Скользить во тьме с другими зверями древней тайги.
You've become the new bunny. You could have glided in the shadows with the other beasts of ancient Haga.
Шанс утрачен.
You blew that chance.
Теперь вы всего лишь угощение.
Now you're just treats, funeral desserts.
С вашей помощью родится
A
настоящий
true bunny will be born with your help.
Нет, я зайчик. Я хитрый, голодный зверь, хозяин.
No. Something foreign throbbed inside me. I'm the bunny. I'm the cunning, hungry beast master. I bit on my lower lip. The slightly salty taste of blood filled my mouth. The thing this forest implanted into all of us was akin to an intelligent tumor. I saw Polina's trembling lips. I saw the grimace of fear, but at the same time, some deep-seated grievance in Ramka. Oh, they surely were both stricken with that demonic disease.
истинный зайчик сожрет братика и сестричку и допрыгнет до луны.
A true bunny will devour the siblings and jump to the moon. The goat burped. Despite him being a fair distance away from us, we were showered with the scent of a composite pit.
Бейте в ладоши.
Clap your hands.
Теперь у своры снова есть свой зайчик.
The pack has its own bunny once again. Okay, I'm confused. So we see the owl and we see the bear. We don't see the wolf or Alyssa.
Из прошлого поколения.
From the previous generation.
Наша новая старая подружка.
Our new old friend.
Надеюсь, она по-прежнему умеет играть.
I hope she knows how to play. The goat pulled a thin flute made from a shin bone out of his sleeve. The shambling monster brought the instrument to his lips. A new wailing sound weaved itself into the howling of the wind. First, a bone-chilling whistling, then a low hum that rattles one's teeth, the howl of an awakening tundra, as if something foreign, a god of hunger and death, raised its voice among the frost of Everwinter. The goat, Teddy, and Hootie turned their heads toward the crooked trees at the edge of the cemetery. I didn't want to look. What I did want to do was grab onto Tikhonov and scream at him for not doing anything. The policeman glanced at the forest, as did Polina and Ramka. I turned around, my teeth chattering from fear and cold. A slim figure walked out from behind the dark tree trunks. It was an adult, a woman. A tattered bunny mask covered her entire face. Have I seen her before? The way she walked, the way she positioned her shoulders and her head. Do I know her? I strained my memory, but the right answer kept on slipping away. Alia pressed her palms against the frosted glass and twisted her neck, following the bunny's movements. The wind tore at the stripes of burial grease that were buried in the snow, and peeled off the scales of paint from the tombstone. Without even looking at us, she glided among the rusty iron pyramids and scratched wood, as if the music was the threads of the puppeteer and the woman was the marionette. The owl and the bear lowered their heads in reverence. I couldn't see the mouth underneath the goat's mask, but I felt like the leader of this pack was giving this new bunny a fatherly smile. She stopped facing the creatures, making me wonder where I could have seen her faintly familiar posture. The goat tore his lips away from the flute, but the melody kept on playing, carried by the wind. Oh, here comes Wolfie. The eyes and the slits of the goat's mask stared straight at Ramka.
Я?
Oh my god! Wait a minute! Was I right? Ramka was Wolfie, because we saw him on all fours. Was I right about the Wait a minute. Polina hugged him, protecting Ramka from the piercing gaze. But then I saw Tikhanov turn toward the goat. Who, in turn, started playing his bone flute again, with even bigger fervor.
Нет, я.
No. Plot twist. What? No. Me. Wrinkles straightened out on the officer's face. I thought that the music invaded his skull, making his brain numb. And even though it was scary as hell, it didn't work like that on my friends or me. Tikhanov's aimed his useless right at the snow. If his eyes weren't wide open, I would have thought he fell asleep while standing.
Константин Владимирович.
Tikhanov didn't react.
Новое поколение недостойно вобрать в себя темноту.
These youngins are not worthy of absorbing the dark.
Мой матерый волк Костик. Бешеный зверь.
You are my old wolf costume, a ferocious beast.
Как было когда-то.
As it was.
Когда-то.
As it was.
Как будет во веки веков.
As it will forever be. A wolf mask appeared in the goat's hands. Carnivorous maw opened. Meanwhile, I did my best to persuade myself that it was just leather. Leather, cardboard, and fur.
Вот что ты искал долгие годы, Костик.
You've been looking for all these years.
Вот почему ты пошел в милиционеры.
That's why you went to serve the police, right?
Чтобы понять, что случилось со мной в детстве.
I wanted to know what happened to me when I was a kid.
Воспоминания. Я верну их тебе.
Memories. I will return them.
Константин Владимирович. Он все врет.
He's lying. I grabbed Tikhanov by the sleeve of his coat. It felt like I was looking at a scarecrow, that somebody dressed up as a policeman for shits and giggles. Hypnotized by the music and the mask, Tikhanov couldn't hear me. Tears ran down my cheeks.
Константин Владимирович. Это колдовство.
This is some sort of witchcraft. Tikhanov pushed me away and walked away, snow crunching underneath his boots. The goat waited patient. His fingers danced across the holes in the flute's body. Naked branches squeaked in the wind. Tikhanov walked up to the new bunny and accepted the mask.
Вспомни.
Remember.
Не надо.
Don't! The officer stood with his back turned to me so I couldn't see what he was doing. But when he turned around, his face was replaced by a wolf's maw. The mask was a perfect fit, the second skin. The owl and the bear started clapping, holding a rhythm. The goat started playing. This horrifying sound was aimed strictly at the masked humans. Entrapped by the flute's melody, they started swaying and stomping around.
Ах, как хорошо. Как в старые добрые времена.
Ah, wonderful. Just like good old times.
Ой, здравствуйте.
Oh, hello. We haven't seen each other for so long.
Добрый вечер. Какие у ваших деток забавные маски.
Good evening. Your kids are wearing such funny masks. Hootie and Teddy purred, flattered.
Вовремя вы собрались, друзья. Праздник близится. А какой же праздник без угощений?
What a time for us to come together, friends. A celebration is upon us. And how can you celebrate without treats?
Не будем мешкать.
Let's not delay.
Я бы с удовольствием, но у меня дела. Может быть.
I'd love to, but I have something to deal with. Maybe... The leader of the pack stabbed the icy crust with his fingers and took a sack out of the snow. Brown spots. I don't know what that says. The old woman and Tikhonov swayed toward the goat, stood on their tiptoes, trembling from anticipation.
Угощайтесь.
Feast. Polina gasped. I would have puked if my stomach wasn't already empty. Ugh. Human bows rained from the sack. Some of them were old and moldy, while others were covered in pink sinews and clots of icy larch. An intact torso, with a horrific, reddish fringe of hail-eaten flesh hanging off of it. A lower jaw with a patch of white skin.
Сколько шоколада!
So much chocolate! I hope you guys aren't allergic to sweets.
Утомила. Не бывает никакой аллергии.
I'm done with you. Allergies don't exist. The adults lowered to their knees, touching human remains with their hands in a trance. The owl shouted in surprise as she surveyed the broken skulls and the tails of vertebrae. Tikhonov could barely tear himself away from the dead meat.
Мне правда пора.
I really have to go.
Уйти и не узнать, почему тебя нашли в чаще и куда девались воспоминания.
Leave without learning why you were found in the thicket and where your memories went? A yellow claw poked into the tree.
Все
It's all here. The bones devoured Tikhonov's attention.
Не ешьте сухомятку обжоры.
Don't just stuff yourself with dry food, you gluttons. The leader of the pack bent down once more and took a rusty vacuum flask out of a snow pile. Cups appeared on the hands of the woman and the policeman. Steam rose. I, on the other hand, stared at Teddy. Insatiable hunger smoldered in the slits of his mask. His limbs bent, and from his mouth leaked an uninterrupted streak of saliva.
Наслаждайтесь. Ни в чем себе не отказывайте.
Enjoy yourself. Feast to the fullest. The woman giggled. Tikhonov took a sip of the drink, and then, after a moment of hesitation, reached for the meat. It was as if those two really had no idea what the monster was feeding them. The feast among the graves was a blood-curdling spectacle. I backtracked, a shadow whizzed behind my back. Romka? No, he was still hugging Polina, glancing around in a panic. I opened my mouth to call out to Tikhonov once again. The shadow glided a few feet away from me. The owl bent her neck, snapping her beak. I recoiled, the foreboding silhouette dissolving in the mist, only to appear again behind Romka. The owl walked in circles, preventing our escape. Every time air entered my lungs, she emerged in front of me, hooting and snapping, swaying her furry face. While I was distracted with the leader's lackey, Tikhonov shoved a bone under his mask and chewed tendon knots off of it. The woman feasted on bone marrow as if she was sucking custard through a straw. Polina and I groaned in unison. Tikhonov took out something red, metallic, out of his mouth.
Это Катина заколка! Я ее узнала!
That's Katya's hairpin for sure. As if starting the third act of a concert, the goat tilted his head backward and blew another portion of acoustic chaos out of his flute. The cannibal, wearing a police uniform, bit in half. The woman beside him did the same. They looked like they were being electrocuted. The melody ran charges of electric current through their bodies. Something was happening to them. Their masks warped, no longer just an element in a carnival. They turned into animal faces, real masks open with rough, beastly tongues, touching yellowed teeth. A woman with the head of a bunny. A man with the head of a wolf. Yes. Yes, that's it. I'm starting to remember. I was 12 then.
Мне было 6.
I was 6. We danced and jumped. I remember it clearly. But the ritual failed. Fire broke out.
Все дети погибли.
All the children died. Apart from us, and the horned dad took our masks. Burned them along with our memories.
Ничто не гибнет в пламени без
Nothing can burn without a trace. You've returned, my children. Hootie opened her beak. A stream of thick saliva dripping out of it. Teddy threw his paws up in the air and swayed like a roly-poly toy. Tikhonov tilted his head backward and let out a snort, lonely howl. A short, lonely howl. The wind echoed him.
Тайга чует возвращение стаи. Мы почти закончили.
Taiga can feel the pack returning. We're almost complete.
Не хватает только лисы.
We only need a fox now. My gaze darted around looking for Alyssa. He's talking about my mysterious foxy friend, right? Alyssa will come and save us. Only she could stand her ground against the bleeding devil. The graveyard was getting snowed in more and more. Roma shielded Polina, but he didn't look like a brave hero. Polina looked from behind his back, her eyes glistening with tears.
Будь хитрой зверушкой, девочка. Встань на стол.
You cunning little beast, girl. Join the winning side.
И тогда мы закончим ритуал.
And then we complete the ritual. I looked around once again, yet I still couldn't find Alyssa.
Ритуал! Ритуал! Ритуал!
Ritual. Ritual. Hippity hop. Hippity hop. We burned our masks. Tikhonov lowered his horrifyingly long face. Teeth scraped inside a wolf's maw. Then he spun toward the leader. I was amazed to hear laughter distorted by the ancient mask. Yes, Tikhonov was laughing in the face of the nightmarish goat. And the next thing the vocal cords of the former policeman produced was a blood-chilling growl. You're out of your mind, horned one. You were already old and decrepit when I learned to howl at the moon, and now you're completely insane. The owl and the bear were stupefied by that kind of disrespect. The goat clicked his teeth, having no comeback for the rebel. Your time is gone. The pack needs a new master. Is it Alyssa? Is Alyssa the new master? She said she would always save us. I'm really hoping I got the right ending. I worked so hard. I restarted everything to try to make sure I got all the evidences. Please tell me it paid off. The goat bleated, shaking his horns. Words finally returned to him, but his voice was shaky.
Мой самый преданный пес! Как ты посмел?
My most loyal dog. How dare you?
Самый верный из моих отпрысков. Разве ты не
Most
понимаешь?
faithful of my cubs. Don't you get it?
Я был
I had to get rid of you. You killed my brother and sister. You disbanded the old pack.
Верно. Я убил родных детей, но кто помог мне в этом?
That's right. I killed my own flesh and blood. But who helped me do it?
Ты, Костя.
You, Kostya.
Иначе они съели бы меня, чтобы допрыгнуть до Луны.
Or they would have eaten me to jump up to the moon. You chose the right side.
За это
For that, I gave you freedom. The goat traced his hand around Tikhonov and the silent woman. freedom? No, you betrayed us. I've suffered this meat cage for all these years.
Костя!
Shut up, old man, I'm talking. Let's swap. Take my mask and I'll take yours. A symbol of power. I will be the horned master of the hungry beasts. The leader's long fingers covered the goat mask, protecting it. The owl and the bear rushed to the master's feet, ready to defend him with their lives. The bunny's hair bristled up. She bent down to the soil and hissed threateningly at Tikhonov. But he wasn't worried about the number of his enemies. We'll see about that, horned fool. Tikhonov, as if being controlled by his mask, moved toward the goat. What a lovely treat. That chance, you freak. If you don't want to do it the easy way. Here, eat this. Oh my god. The AK bark, or the AK bark. A burst of bullets riddled the three in front of us with holes. All the bullets hit, but the beast didn't even flinch. Only feathers and spreads of fur swirled in the freezing air, joining the snowflakes. Pathetic, clinging to human toys like that. You were always meat and you'll die like meat. We'll peck out your entrails. We'll chew him without breaks. The goat touched the flute with his fangs and started playing. He moved his long fingers over the holes, blowing out a sad, lonely tune. Answering his calls, the brushes moved and the stripes on burial wreaths shuddered. Snowflakes started floating upward. Ghostly phantoms are perched on the line of the grim burial grounds. Saliva dripped from the beast's maw. Holes appeared on their hides, their jaws full of crooked fangs opened up. Balls of maggots breathed deep inside their masks. Your pack got thinned out, old man. Now let's see who calls the others. Now let's see whose call the others will heed. He fell to his knees and back toward the car, but the lieutenant arched his back like a beast. Tikhonov raised his head toward the ashen skies and howled. A wave of sound crushed the trio in front of him. Snowflakes sped up, a couple of crosses tilted. The flute's melody, and the howl imitating it, flashed like two spears. My hair stood on end, my skin tingled. The metal body of the UAZ bent under the horrifying force. Sparks flew from its hood. Two figures flew out from the darkness. For a second, I thought those were my friends, but then I made out the masks. Alyssa and Wolfie. Ah! Yay! Okay, I think we did it! Instead of pouncing at me from behind and devouring me, those two rushed the goat. I dove into the car and shut the door. Alia was crying, so I hugged her. Her wet face pressed into my collarbone.
Тоша, что с нами будет?
Tosha, what will happen to us? Judging by the loud sounds, a bloodbath was underway outside.
Закрой глазки.
Don't look, close your eyes. She obeyed, but still shuddered in my embrace. I'm not looking. I'm not looking. The windows fogged up. I could only see the shadows wreathing outside. The night and the massacre happening in it. Scarlet drops sprinkled on the windshield. I squeezed my fist so hard that my fingernails tore into my palms. Something heavy slammed against the car's hood. Paws flashed. I didn't want to look, but I also couldn't close my eyes. And if I only saw bits and pieces of the fight, the sounds of it reached my ears in full. A few feet away from the UAZ, hides cracked and muscles tore. A fuzzy shadow staggered along the side of the car. An owl? A fox? No, both. They curled into a single ball of fur. Disgusting. A two-headed abomination that devoured itself. Ugh. The fox fox put her sharp nose into the hole that formed in the owl's chest and was eating her entrails. There was some pinkish-white subcutaneous fat under the feathers, disgusting layers cracking under the pressure from the fangs and oozing streaks of black blood. Before disappearing behind the right side of the car, the beasts tore at each other's necks. The bluish windpipe wiggled from the owl's neck like a worm, a wet tube covered with fibers of torn-up meat. Alia pressed into me, her body trembling. It was cold inside the car, but fear was the real reason we both shivered in the back seat. What are they doing? Where's Mommy?
Мамочка скоро придет.
Mommy will return soon. I hugged my sister and covered her eyes with my hand. Alia's trembling eyelashes tickled my palm. Don't look. Windows of the police car frosted over. I could only see blurry spots jumping around in the blizzard. Somebody jumped over the engine compartment, crawled under the car, ran to the right of it. One spot chasing another. Mr. Officer, save us? Actually, I wasn't sure. Part of me that was strangely composed and cunning knew that we couldn't rely on the adults. I needed to act. Tikhonov will lose, I thought. He's weak. Magic can't be defeated by bullets. It can only be defeated by other magic. I had the mask under my vest since the moment I took it out of the monster's paws. They wanted me to become part of their pack, but that didn't matter right now. Only I can help my friends. I need to hurry before they become a pile of bones inside the treat stack. They're calling for me. At that moment, I thought I could hear Romka and Polina's voices muffled by nature's wrath. A dark oval rose up behind the driver's door, as if somebody's face poked through the frozen glass, only to disappear the next moment. Put it on, I said to myself. Did I, though? Were those my thoughts? Alia's tears run up my palm. I was running out of time. I can become a hero for Roma and Polina and for my little sister, too. But I will need a miracle to save them. While keeping Alia's eyes covered, I took out the mask. Where did it come from? Who put the beast inside? And what did that dark power want? Do I really want to become one with something I have no comprehension of? It's like dousing yourself in gasoline, lighting yourself on fire and rushing your enemy. Don't think about it for now, insisted my inner voice. Just do it. I carefully pulled my hand away from Alia. My little sister shut her eyes as she spoke. Where are you going?
Никуда. Я здесь.
Nowhere. I'm
всегда
here.
буду здесь.
I will always be here. The mask felt pleasant to the touch. It beckoned me. Goosebumps ran all over my skin. I felt pleasant anticipation. The kind you feel as a kid right before Christmas, when you still believe in magic and the kind old man wandering in the moonlit night. I brought the mask to my face. Alia's fingers looped around my wrist. I turned my head only to be met with her pleading gaze. Don't put it on.
Ты не понимаешь. Это наш шанс.
You don't get it. This is our chance. It's a trap. Bad things can't be good. She was looking for words to make me reconsider. Alia saw something I couldn't. Stop it! And then what? Just bury our friends and family if we even survive until the funeral? Somebody started banging on the doors to my right, making Alia shriek. A blurry hand slammed against a window, nail scraping away the rime. The door handle creaked under the push of someone who was trying to get in the car. We do have a choice. Put it on, or don't put it on. Okay. I feel like Alyssa is going to save us. Like, he's right. The bullets from Tikhonov are not going to do anything. But Alyssa and, for some reason... Wait, I say some reason. The wolf is Tikhonov. I already forgot. But the wolf and Alyssa are protecting us. I don't think we need to put the mask on. I hope I'm right about that, but I'm going to say no.
Ты права, как всегда. Прости меня.
You're right, as always. I'm sorry. I dropped the mask. Human, you cast aside the mask. I dropped the mask. I didn't need any more of that horrific magic birthed by the dark forest. I was done playing a beast. As if in protest, a passenger door flung open so fast that it almost flew off its hinges. The blizzard raged outside with the slim female silhouette protruding out of the whiteness. I couldn't see where its head was. Pale hands felt around the metal parts like some sort of albino spiders crawling into my and Alia's shelter. My sister pierced my shoulder with her nails. The woman leaned in, slowly bending her back like a rusty mechanism. A chin with matted fur appeared, then the mouth, the eye slit. Her mask was almost identical to the one that used to cover my face, only many times more horrifying, twisted as if it was reflected in a curved mirror. Pupils flashed from the holes, nails screeched against the metal. Please don't! Why do I find those grotesque mimics so familiar? Alia wailed, pressing herself into me even harder. The woman lunged into the car and snapped her teeth inches away from my face. Stop! Another snap. The monster's nostrils pulled in air with a loud sound. It sniffed around. I'm scared. The woman bent her neck in a beastly manner, gurgling. She was trying to remember how to speak. My precious child. I realized she was talking to Alia. Come with me. I'm protecting you now. Alia shook her head, recoiling from the outstretched hand. Go away. I don't want to. But you're mine. For a moment, demonic anger left the eyes that shone inside the slits of the old mask. I swear I saw despair. I want to go home to Mommy. Alia thrashed around hysterical. Mommy, help me. There's a scary monster here. Scary monster? The woman's voice changed. It was full of pain. The eyes in the darkened slits glistened, but not with anger, tears. I stared incredulously at the monster that was about to rip us to shreds just a moment ago. A hand with long fingers reached out toward Alia again, but stopped midway. Suddenly, the woman with the head of a bunny slipped out of the car and dashed into the thick of the fight. I saw her sink her fangs into Tikhonov's neck and tear the shreds of meat out of it. The wolf darted across crimson snow, whining in pain as he tried in vain to shrug off the crazed bunny woman. Who was that? I don't know. I wanted to throw the mask farther away, but it stuck to my fingers. I shook my hand, ridding myself of the nasty thing. I pulled the door toward myself and locked it. We'll stay inside until everything boils over, until the forces of good triumph. Because that's what always happens in stories that Mom read to me when I was little. Alia dropped her head on my shoulder. Colorful spots continued their chaotic movement outside of the no longer translucent windows. We just sat outside the car waiting for the ends. Bones and wings crunched. I put my palms over Alia's ears. A horned shadow marched right in front of the car. A melody of death and hunger drilled itself into my brain. I thought that Wolf Tikhonov was controlling the mindless Alyssa, like the goat controlled his pack. Beast versus beast, darkness versus darkness. Wolfie rolled away, hit the cross, and hung on it, like the crucified god my dad believed in. Tikhonov roared inside the raging snowstorm. The goat bleated. A fountain of blood rushed toward the night sky. The music stopped. It's quiet now.
Да, маленькая.
Yes, my dear.
Сиди здесь. Я посмотрю одним глазком и вернусь.
Sit here. I'll take a quick look and return.
Не надо!
No, don't
Я
go.
вернусь.
I'll be back.
Обещаю.
I promise. She let go of my collar, then sniffled. I took the axe from the back seat. I had no idea where I got the strength. But maybe staying inside oblivious was even more terrifying than stepping outside. With cautions, I stepped down to the ground. The battlefield was scarlet from blood. Teddy's corpse, with his head crushed. Remains of an owl missing her eyes and one of the wings. Only Alyssa and the bunny woman were nowhere to be found. Tikhonov clutched his throat, trying in vain to close the wound. Blood pumped out between his fingers. The mask he wore was torn to shreds, just like the skin underneath it. His enemy's claws tore off half his face, from the eyelid down to his chin, removing the soft tissue of his cheek. I could see the yellow teeth of his upper jaw through the pit. His left eye leaked out, looking like the white of a raw
Что
egg.
со мной? Антон,
It's happening to me, Anton.
не хочу.
I don't want to.
Горячо так.
It's so hot, so hot.
Горячо.
He wheezed one last time and went limp. I made sure Alia was still inside the car, leaning against the driver's seat. Then dragged my feet toward the grave. The goat crawled between the fences, clinging to the snow. He's still alive? Tikhonov had gutted him. Garlands of attested dragged after him on the icy crust. They left a sticky trail like a slime-oozing snail. Stomach acid settled on the snow and brown pus oozed from under the mask. Maggots wreathed in his maw, which made it look like the goat's lips were smeared with black lipstick. Smelly bits of flesh fell off and shriveled. The goat stank of wet grave, piss, and firecracker sulfur. He's going to die, I
Я
thought.
смогу забрать все эти маски себе.
And I'll be able to take all these masks for myself.
Сам решать, кто
I'll be the one
сможет
to decide who
прыгать со
jumps
мной
to the
до
moon with
Луны.
me.
А кому меня бояться?
And who's gonna be afraid of me. Those foreign thoughts filled me up like hot water and warmed me up. Once again, I imagined a night trail in the magnificent, fantastical forest. How nice it was running on it. The goat raised his hand. A bunny mask dangled on his crooked fingers and studied me with his holes. It shone like silver.
Когда она коснется моего лица, все беды уйдут.
When it touches my face, all my troubles will disappear.
Я поем
I'll eat
и
and
буду
run.
прыгать до
I'll jump up in the
небес,
skies,
до
up toward the
облаков.
clouds. I'll play with
Буду
the
играть.
twinkling stars. A stiffening corpse rustled inaudibly as it fell on the side. It wasn't as disfigured as the others, so I was easily able to recognize it. This is for you. Put it on, Anton. Put it on. Good boy. I didn't listen. I looked at the torn-up coat hanging up on the cross. Somewhere underneath it lay a dead, bloodied child. Roma! His entirely human death mask was calm and peaceful. He was my friend. My only friend died without even getting out of the confines of this accursed village. Roma couldn't give all the good he had in him to the world. The boiling heat inside me started to dissipate. It was replaced by pain and longing. Hurry up, Anton.
Скорее! Надень маску!
Hurry up, my inner voice commanded. Put on the mask, dance in the night, forget about everything. Who are you? I directed that question in my mind to the obsessive
Никто.
voice.
Я это ты!
Nobody special. There was worry in the voice. I am you. Lies. I looked at the mask.
Уже давай,
Bunny's lips
давай,
moved.
надень ее.
They whispered,
Убирайся!
get out. My inner voice went silent for a moment, lay dormant, but then it suddenly growled.
О, я
Oh, I'll
выйду.
get out. It didn't sound meek and pathetic anymore. It
Но
talked
не
back.
думай, что мы разойдемся по разным тропинкам и больше не свидимся.
But don't think we'll go our separate ways and never come together
Я
again.
вернусь.
I'll be back,
Рано
sooner or later.
вернусь, когда ты будешь
I'll be back when you
меньше
least
всего.
expect it. I felt uneasy from these threats. Somebody inside me, a total stranger, directed my thoughts, my feelings, and my fears.
Вернусь.
I'll be
Когда
back.
ты будешь нарезать свежие овощи для похлебки, и пальцы окажутся в опасной близости от лезвия.
When you'll be cutting fresh vegetables for a soup and your fingers end up dangerously close to the blade,
Вернусь,
I'll be
когда
back.
вскинешь колун над поленом, а Оля замешков склонит над ним белокурую головушку.
When you'll lift up your axe above a log and Alia will clumsily bend her white head over it, or
позже.
even later,
Да,
yes, much
намного.
later. I was ready to run away, wherever my legs would take me. So these horrifying images drawn by my feverish imagination would blur and eventually be erased from my memory. But I also knew that I couldn't hide from his voice. Not in the thick Tega forest, chock full of ancient monsters. Not in the forest hut with barred up windows. Not in the mood where the endless midnight trail could lead me. The voice that pretended to be me oozed from the gaping hole of the bunny mask and escaped my lips at the same time. Because it pretended to be me, always.
Может, я объявлюсь, когда ты подрастешь и будешь держать на руках своего малыша.
Maybe I'll show up when you grow up and will be holding a baby in your hands.
Сотканного
A
из
baby
лучей
woven from
как
beams of sunlight.
легко загасить огонек лампадки. Подует ветерок и...
It's so easy to snuff out that candlelight. A single gust of wind and... I squeezed my eyes shut and tears sprayed out of them.
Замолчи!
Shut up!
Я буду ждать.
I'll be waiting.
Убирайся.
Go away.
Можешь прогнать
You can
меня
chase me
сейчас.
away now. You can
Заглушить,
silence or
кидать мне
suppress me.
наплевать.
I don't care.
Я — это не
I'm
ты.
not you.
Я часть
I'm
тебя.
part of you, always have been. From now on, we're together. I looked at the accursed mouse once again. A realization of much I had to lose where I too stopped being human slowly creeping up on me. Alia, Mom, Dad. Icy wind cut my skin, sending painful pulsing all over my body. I couldn't tell anymore whether this was all happening in reality or if I was just being delusional for a while now. Somewhere far behind the fences, a shadow dashed and stretched like a giant centipede without hiding among the tree trunks. Among gusts of bone-chilling wind assaulted me, but it also brought a familiar whisper to me, as if the forest itself was talking to me and not the carnivorous shadow that swayed in the wind.
Бойся, мой сладкий.
Don't be afraid, sweetie.
Быть зверем.
Being a beast doesn't feel too bad. A blob of darkness that enveloped the nearby treetop started crunching and shrinking to the size of a teenager. In its breathing silhouette, I started recognizing the image of a fox girl I knew. At least that's how I remembered her on the day we first met.
Особенно хорошо, когда не надо плясать под чужую дудку.
And it's especially good when you don't need to dance to anyone's tune. I shifted my gaze from the blade of the axe in my hand to the sliced-up goat mask. I stared at the stiffened body of the horned giant, and I couldn't tell if he was alive or dead.
Больше нет хозяев.
We don't have masters anymore.
А значит,
And
больше
that means
никто
nobody
не
will force us to
заставит
bully
править.
anyone. Alyssa hesitated, rolling the word on her tongue as if trying to taste it.
Защитного. Порой в наш лес
Defenselessness.
забредают люди, которые заслуживают стать нашей добычей.
Sometimes people who deserve to become our prey come into our forest.
Говори,
After
среди
all, there
людей
are plenty of
полно
true monsters hiding among
настоящих.
people. He peeked up playfully from behind the mast of a century-old pine. The slits of a cunning mast sought me out in the
Мы
dark.
последние из стаи, зайчик. Только я и ты.
We're the last of the pack, Bunny. You and
Нам
me.
нужно заботиться
We need to
друг о
take
друге,
care of
если
each
ты
other.
не видишь.
Can't you see that? Alyssa took a step toward me and revealed the deep cuts in her hands, a drip of blood in the moonlight. Scarlet blood bubbled up in the wounds left by sharp fangs and claws.
Ты нужен мне.
Please, I need
Мы
you.
будем свободны.
We'll be free. We'll go wherever you want.
Как же моя прежняя жизнь? Моя семья, Оля, друзья.
What about my previous life, my friend, my family, Alya? I looked at Alyssa with suspicion. It felt like I finally uncovered her biggest secret, and I'm just too afraid to
Как же
admit it.
Полина?
What about Polina? Alyssa stared at me in disbelief for a moment, but then let out a stifled laugh, then another one, and then she was laughing hysterically, holding her stomach. Her body jerked unnaturally, like she was a broken mechanical doll, until her batteries ran out and she froze in place with an unchanging smile on her face. The person behind the mask was clearly smiling, but what they said next was harsh and cold.
Пизду Полину. Только ты и я. Решайся, малыш.
Only you and I. Time to decide, baby.
Пожалуйста, не бросай меня.
Just please don't abandon me. My gaze turned toward the bunny mask again, which at this point looked like it was smiling. Then, as if on autopilot, I got a better grip of the axe under the intent gaze of the cunning fox. I remembered Bunny's threats, then Alyssa's sweet promises, believing in which was total madness. I remembered Alya's warm light, and made my choice. Put it on or smash. It's time to smash. I
Ты,
proclaimed.
это не я.
You're not me. I threw up the axe. Consciousness smoldered in the goat's huge eyes. His black tongue fell out of his maw. The mask twitched, begging me to wear it. Nice. Path of light. You remained human. That has to be good. I feel like that'd be a good ending. And I smashed it from above, crushing the bunny face, covered with magnets, pushing it into the dirt. The goat screamed. The second strike split his forehead, throwing bits of rotten brain in the snow. The axe was left lodged between the halves of a horned skull. The fox girl let out a heart-rending scream like a banshee from the Irish folktales that foretold the oncoming death of their close ones. And then in one full swoop, she leaped over the snowfield and disappeared among the dead trees bawling. Her cries were forever engraved in my memory. There was no way I'd forget something that scared me so much, but also elicited genuine empathy at the same time. Because of the shock I was in, it took me a while to realize someone was shouting my name.
Я сейчас.
I'm coming. I took her out of the car and carried her along the trail. Alya was almost weightless. She poked my neck with her wet nose. I thought about my dead friend under the grave cross. A single tear rolled down my cheek, and I landed on top of Alya's head. A pair of lights cut through the night. I walked forward with no idea what was waiting for me there. Dad's car stopped in the middle of the outclearing. He stumbled out of it.
Папочка!
Daddy! Daddy! He hugged us with big hands. His stubble was prickly, but right now it was the best feeling in the world.
Простите меня, пожалуйста, простите.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He was crying. It was the first time I saw my dad's tears. Few, but all of them were scorchingly hot.
Я не должен был уходить. Боже мой, не должен был.
I shouldn't have left, but by God, I
Дом
shouldn't have.
сгорел. Они подожгли.
The house burnt down. They put it on fire. Dad replied with a curt nod. He took Alya and laid her on the back seat.
Они подстерегли нас в лесу.
They were waiting for us in the forest. The beasts? Dad shot me a surprised glance. I entered the car, watching my dad walk around its front, sit in front of the wheel, and slam the doors.
Люди, конечно.
Humans, of course.
Люди, которые...
Humans that are worse than beasts. He didn't know. He didn't see the shine of monstrous eyes in the dark.
Я думал, что того ублюдка арестовала милиция, но там были
I
его
thought the police
друзья.
had arrested that bastard, but he had friends. The car sped up. The blizzard had almost subsided. The snow was no longer falling from the sky. I asked myself if the sunrise was painting the sky red above the ancient pines. Time broke, devoid of its usual characteristics. It turned into snowflakes that floated up into the sky instead of floating down.
Где мама?
Where's Mom? Dad was silent. His heavy gaze set on the road and his pale fingers gripping the steering wheel.
Плохие люди забрали нашу маму.
Bad people took Mom.
Я все исправлю,
I'll deal with
верну
it. I'll get her
ее. Но
back.
сейчас главное вы.
But you're more important now, you and Alya. The sleepy face of my little sister appeared in the backseat mirror.
Тоша,
Да, Оленька.
ты спас нас, братик.
You saved us, big bro. You did it. She fell asleep warm. She snored as she sucked on her finger. I did it. I got her out of that hell.
Все обойдется. Они нас не найдут. Больше
We'll be
никогда.
fine. They won't find us ever again. Something flashed on the side of the road. Polina! I fixed my glasses and saw the girl grabbing at the icy branches. Wait! My scream didn't disturb Alya's sleep. The car slowed down, but I already jumped out and rushed through the piles of snow.
Полина!
She recoiled at my voice. Her clothes were either slashed by branches or someone's claws. I gave Polina a soft hug. She was unnaturally feverish and her hair smelled of evergreen and
Где
rot.
Рома?
Where's Roma?
Мне жаль.
I'm sorry. Polina replied with a sad nod. Her stuck-together bangs covered her face, stopping me from watching her eyes and deciphering her
Я
emotion.
хочу уехать. Куда угодно.
I want to go. Doesn't matter where. I grabbed her by the elbow. Dad ran after me and helped me carry Polina to the backseat of our car to the snoring Alya. I leaned in and
Все
whispered,
кончено.
"It's over." The car turned around. Our old house was burning to the right. The charred frame had appeared from under the collapsed front. The roof smoldered. Flakes of gray ash scurried in the wind. My eyes stung, but not because of the smoke. It's over. Everything burned down, not just my toys and my drawings. My entire new life perished in a fire. And what lay ahead, I had no idea. The car's lights only illuminated rows of trees. The house waved us farewell with a scarlet veil of flames. I looked at my own reflection in the mirror while we rushed into the unknown. The forest creek whispered, shared the news of the demise of its master. The house disappeared around the corner. I wiped my sooty face. A pink line drew the horizon in front of us. I hoped for an imminent sunrise. I wanted to believe in it. The wind, cold but somehow also soft, evaded the car, even though all the windows were closed. It rubbed the driver's jaw, then dove between the seats, checked up on a sleeping little girl curled up into a ball. He doesn't have eyeballs. The hair of another girl that stared silently into space ruffled and spread like a lightweight curtain. The wind touched her parched lips. Polina smiled. Hug or leave be? Hug? I wouldn't dare judge her for that quirk after the madness she endured. My own face was twisted in a smirk of my inner beast doing. In the end, everything I ever wanted, everything I strived for was this girl and our friendship. Or even something more than a friendship. I hugged Polina and she replied with a strong embrace of her own.
И когда все вокруг строгие, от зимы смотрю под ноги, вижу.
So we ended up getting Polina after all of that. We still got Polina. Hey, Normie, you hugged Polina. Genius in the dark. When we speak about modern Russian art, there's no way to avoid mentioning one of its leaders, the most influential artist in the country. Anton Petrov. Last year, one of his paintings, Wolf on a Cross, was sold for $3 million. That's a record number for any of the contemporary living Russian artists. The painting features his famous dark expressionist style. He used his favorite motif of a werewolf that is falling apart into pieces of a human face with animalistic features showing up behind it. Silhouettes of beasts, almost invisible, escaping your direct sight, were painted in an incredible barricade style. The image of Petrov himself also appeals to Western art pensioners. He's a hermit living in the Taiga forest. Maestro rarely gives interviews and always refuses to elaborate on the meaning behind his works. Wolf on a Cross was purchased by an unnamed fan of Russian Expressionism. So we ended up becoming an artist. Okay. Present day.
Никогда не понимал, зачем в небольшом поселке нужна психушка.
I can never understand why they put a psych ward in such a small village.
Это окружная больница.
It's the regional
И
hospital.
ты знаешь, здесь, возле леса, так легко сойти с ума.
Besides, here near the forest, it's so easy to go insane. I was oh so painfully aware of that. The wind rustled with the naked tree branches in a small deserted park. The sun set over the taiga. The air was damp and smelled of pine. Shadows slithered near the building's weathered face like the ghost of a madman in the black hospital gown. This village was akin to a corpse with balsamic liquid solidifying inside it. A horrific doll, crafted by some necrophiliac from the clothes he stole from dead people. After everything that I had to do, after Polina and I had touched the darkness, we were deep in it up to our elbows like in blood. Standing near the car, side by side with my partner, I glared at the barred windows. Snow fell from the sky, solemn and anxious. I could end up in this place myself, tied to a bed, sedated with drugs. But we managed to escape the locked hospital rooms. When the Immercom people picked up Bayasha all those years ago, he was crawling down in the forest ravines. The doctors found remains of voles and squirrels in his stomach. He survived the best he could. The police reasoned that the poor boy became the victim of a serial killer, and that shook his mind. Polina and I stayed in one piece using our own methods. But what if the real madmen are not inside but out there? I looked at my phone. My dad, with a soft smile on his face, looked back at me from the wallpaper. He was holding Alya by the hand. My little sister laughed as if fossilized in amber in that distant, forever lost summer day. I checked the time in the corner of the screen.
Приемные часы.
It's visitation hours. Let's go. Drafts blew through the entrance hall of the decrepit building. Every other light bulb was busted, so the hallways were barely illuminated.
Вы к кому?
Can I help you?
К Игорю Будаеву.
We're here to see Igor Badalov.
Наш завсегдатай.
Our regular.
Пациенты сейчас в столовой или на процедурах, но Игорь Долгарович уже вернулся в палату.
The patients are all currently in the canteen or undergoing routine treatment. Igor is already back in his room.
Как он себя чувствует?
How is he feeling?
Надежд на выписку по-прежнему никаких.
Still no hope for recovery, I'm afraid.
Боюсь, он до конца жизни будет нуждаться в медицинской помощи.
He will probably need medical assistance for the rest of his life.
Но знаете, Игорь всерьез увлекся творчеством. Мы здесь всячески поощряем арт-терапию.
But you know, Igor has been so engrossed in arts and crafts lately, and we welcome any form of art therapy here.
Он даже возглавил наш кружок
He even became the head
самодеятельности
of
в
the arts
детском
club in our
отделении.
children's ward.
Неужели выжигает по дереву?
Is he doing wood burning
Да
again?
кто ж паяльник такому доверит?
Oh no, there's no way we trust him with a soldering iron.
Нет, шьет
He sews
костюмы для
costumes for
нашего
our amateur
любительского.
theater.
Да у вас тут не больница, а клуб талантов.
This is a talent factory you have here, not a hospital. The medical worker didn't catch the
Наши
sarcasm.
ребята большие молодцы.
Yes, they are such great kids.
Идите за мной.
Follow me. Cockroach? A cockroach ran across the aluminum floor. Polina crushed it with her shoe and winced in disgust. The medical worker opened the door.
Игорь Долгарович, к вам пришли.
It's Bayasha, right? It looks like Bayasha. Igor, you have guests? I prepared myself for this meeting. By the side of Bayasha, who clearly aged faster than normal, still left me stunned. The patient wearing state-issued pajamas tore his gaze from the window and turned his silver-haired head to us. His watery eyes were empty. Polina sensed it was the right moment to give us some privacy, so she started talking to the medical worker to distract her. I couldn't hear them anymore. My initial shock was replaced with determination. I got close to my old buddy, covering him with my shadow. Bayasha shriveled, as if that shadow burned him.
Кто вы такой?
Притворяешься, что забыл меня?
Pretending that you don't forget me, huh?
Не делайте мне больно.
I lowered my voice down to a chilling whisper. It was a one-on-one conversation.
Если боль заставит тебя вспомнить...
If pain can make you remember. I stood in front of him to cover the medical worker's vision with my back and grabbed him by the collar.
Дяденька, не надо. Я бы маленький.
Тебе 37.
You're 37.
Неправда. Почему вы обманываете?
That is so sad. He still thinks he's a kid. He doesn't even realize that he's old because all the trauma he endured. I tugged at his clothes harder.
Если бы мог, убил бы тебя на месте,
I would kill
понимаешь?
you on the spot if I could. Do you understand?
В глаза мне смотри.
Look at me.
Секундочку. Такое обращение с пациентами недопустимо.
I'm sorry, but you can't treat our patients like that. I hadn't even started, I thought as I unclenched my fingers.
Все в порядке, они старые товарищи.
It's okay. They're old friends. Bayasha's gaze started darting around the room until it stopped on Polina. Our former classmate pressed his back into the wall, his entire body trembling.
Зачем вы привели меня сюда? Прогоните! Прогоните! Уходите! Вместе с этой бестией!
I also turned toward Polina, who stood unmoving in the dark corner. A scary smile gaped on her face like an open wound. We exchanged nonverbal signs. It was time. Time for a ride. She beckoned the medical worker
Могли бы мы
away.
прогуляться с с Будаевым?
Can we maybe go for a walk with Badaf?
Естественно, под нашу ответственность.
Under our responsibility, of course.
Что? Это совершенно исключено.
What? That's out of the question.
Он должен находиться под круглосуточным надзором специалистов.
He must be under the constant supervision of professionals.
Я специалист.
I am a professional. Polina took something out of her pocket and handed it to the medical worker. Her brow furrowed. She looked at the envelope Polina was holding.
У вас, милочка, какая-то аура негативная.
See, miss, you have this negative aura about you.
Вы оба странные.
Both of you guys look super weird.
Это исправимо.
I can fix that. Banknotes rustled on Polina's hands and the reward had increased.
Что ж, доктор, полагаю, с вами пациент будет в безопасности.
Well, doctor, I guess the patient will be in safe hands with you.
Не отдавайте меня!
So they bribed her.
Да только не это!
На выход!
Move. I squeezed his shoulder that would probably leave a sizable mark. I felt pleasure knowing that. Bayasha made weak attempts at resisting as he stared at Polina like she was some kind of living dead. The medical worker turned toward the window. Her conscience was in a struggle with her greed. And as was customary in our village, the greed was winning.
Игорь Дулгарович недавно получил укол седативного средства.
Igor was just administered a sedative shot. He shouldn't be able to resist much. I want to see him try, I thought as I bared my
Насчет
teeth.
того, о чем мы говорили.
So about what we discussed before.
Ой, да. Я сейчас принесу пакет.
Oh, right. Let me go get the bag. We walked into the wind. The clouds were thickening as I rolled over the pine tops. Bayasha's knees gave way. He sniveled as he stared at the car that was waiting for us. My black Tiger SUV. He looked at it like he was expected to be greeted by a spacious room with an industrial meat grinder instead of the car's interior. The hulking giant shone with chrome. A hungry metal beast, a foreboding animal. We held Bayasha by the elbows and escorted him to the back seat. Spastic smiles twisted our faces, reflected in the windows. Defensive as Bayasha snuck glances at the hospital where he had spent most of his life. His childhood was over, but not the nightmare that dominated the Tega village. People still went missing here. Traces of the ancient evil were still being mentioned in police reports. They lived on in rumors and horror stories told by the school kids of today.
Куда вы меня везете, на?
Ты знаешь куда.
You know where. A gun appeared on my partner's hand. She pressed it against our captain. It was a .38. Here on the border of hell, I wouldn't trust lead. The weapons are different here, as are the rules of war. Bayasha turned his pleading gaze to me. He was looking for help in the wrong place and from the wrong person.
Зачем ты привел бестию с дьявольской улыбкой?
Скоро узнаешь.
You'll learn soon enough.
Наслаждайся поездкой.
Enjoy the ride, buddy. I turned onto an inconspicuous trail once we left the village. The pines towered over us like a grim fortress wall. The branches reached out toward the car. Their coniferous paws brushed the snow off its roof. Shadows acted like vultures that rose up from the slumber and sneaked toward the trail. Black trunks flashed on both sides. The trail got thinner. Something cawed and squeaked in the thicket. I parked near a bubbling spring in the low ground. Bayasha started trembling in the back seat. Was he onto our plans?
Вспомнил? По роже вижу, что вспомнил.
Remember now, your ugly face tells me what you do.
Напрягись, у тебя получится.
Come on, you can do it.
На выход, чертила.
Get out, freak. He didn't want to go. I had to drag him out of the Tiger. Bayasha stumbled and fell to his knees. His face was as white as his hair, as the snow around us.
Тоха!
О, просветление. Пациент идет на поправку.
Oh my, Eureka! Our patient is making a recovery.
Полин! Зачем вы это делаете, на?
Зачем?
Why? What is that? I took out the phone and brought its display to wide-eyed Bayasha's
Зачем,
face.
ублюдок?
Why, you ask, you bastard? A small boy with short hair looked at Bayasha from the photo. The news chat for the village was full of photos like that. Psych ward patients that went missing, juvenile orphans, and social outcasts no one would cry for. I remembered all the child missing posters on the notice board in my school.
Дети все еще исчезают, не так ли?
Children still go missing, don't they? Bayasha sniffled, saliva dripping from his mouth, a dark stain spread across his pajama pants. Selena snorted in indignation.
Кружок умелые ручки, да?
A handicraft club, huh?
Мы все знаем.
We know everything. Polina opened the trunk and threw a plastic bag at Bayasha. Wait a minute, was he behind it? A bunch of enema masks that were sold by an enterprising medical worker slipped onto the
В
snow.
дурдоме ты делаешь новые маски.
You've been making new masks in the loony house.
Я ничего не понимаю. Дашенька, мне сказали, это поможет. Что так мои мозги встанут на место. Я не знал, что это плохо.
A thought flashed in my head. Can art ever be evil? Didn't I also try to escape the harsh reality of life by drawing? I spoke louder to silence my doubts.
Ты собрал стаю из несовершеннолетних пациентов.
You gathered a pack from the juvenile patients.
Мальчики с аутизмом и
autism and
шизофренией. Ты
schizophrenia.
жрешь пациентов
Feast on the hospital
лечебницы.
dwellers. Bayasha hung his head as he wailed. His throat produced a low buzzing sound.
Помнишь мою бабушку?
Remember my grandma? My grandma's silhouette appeared in my mind's eye, illuminated by the trembling candlelight.
Оставьте меня в покое, на!
Бабушка жила здесь,
Grandma lived
ходила в
here
одну
and
очень
went to
старую
one very old
церковь
church near the
в
monastery.
Вас не слушаю, да?
Умирающий монах
The
рассказал
monk
ей, что
told her on his
зло
deathbed that
вроде
evil
помимо,
walks this world, but God's
Божье
grace is to watch
создание
over the
весьма...
people.
Создание.
His tear-filled eyes shifted, clinging to what stood among his lines.
На смертном одре монах дал бабушке вот
Before he
это.
died, the monk gave my grandma this. I showed my family relic to Bayasha, a simple black cross that I took from my house's entrance.
Нам с Полиной потребовались годы исследований, чтобы понять.
Polina and I needed years of research to understand.
Внутри спрятана
Inside it was a
реликвия
relic
для
that can
связи
help
с
reach them.
ними.
С ними.
He repeated after me, even though we had no idea who they were.
С небесными
The
заступниками.
celestial
У всех
guardians.
народов
Every
есть
nation has their
заговоры,
own chants and
ритуалы,
rituals that summon
помогающие,
these
чтобы
entities
бороться.
to help them fight.
С такими, как ты,
Creatures
дружок.
like you, buddy.
Точнее, теми, кто управляет тобой, словно марионеткой.
Well, those who control you like a puppet, to be exact.
Без Полины я бы не додумался.
I couldn't have seen it without Polina.
Пустяки.
Oh, no need to thank me.
Просто я знала правду о своем деде.
It's just I knew the truth about my grandpa.
Харитонна.
Фактически, Полина, ты спасла наш мир.
Technically, you have already saved our world, Polina.
Вы сумасшедшие. Доктор вас вылечит, на. Это бред. Чертовщина, на.
Bayasha clutched his own chest as if he was about to tear apart his pajamas. His face turned green. Polina frowned. I wondered if her old body was having a stroke. Suddenly, Bayasha started spinning around, quickly licking his bloodless lips.
Антон,
Bayasha froze in place, but then he snapped something out of the bag with the masks. I knew what that thing was. I saw it oh so many times. I always thought it was carved out of a human bone. Why did I think of that? Did I have any proof? No, I just blindly believed some dark legends. With a victorious spark in his eyes, Bayasha pressed a demonic flute to his lips and started playing. Attracted by the ancient melody, shadows wreathed across the clearing. The heavy leaden clouds hid the sun and twilight descended upon the forest. Enough!
Испугались, на? Если вы верите в глупые байки, вас и музыка флейты должна напугать, на!
Bayasha blew into the bone with even more vigor. Polina squatted beside the sobbing psycho and moved aside a lock of her gorgeous hair. The melody stopped. Bayasha looked at her panting, at the scar that ran across Polina's temple. The exact same scar as the bone.
Вы натворили на...
Избавились от паразитов.
Whoa. The parasites that were in the dog, right? We got rid of the parasite.
Теперь музыка
The
флейты над
fleet's
нами.
music has no power over us now.
Мой внутренний демон, что
My inner
терзал меня
demon, the one that
годами,
tormented me all
наконец-то
those years,
смолк.
is silent now.
Вы себя покалечили!
Крест помог вызвать
Cross helped to
хранителя.
summon a guardian. I stopped myself from turning around and checking if anybody stood behind the trees.
Его так боялся мой дед.
My grandpa was scared of him.
Хранитель руководил
Guardian
рукой
guided
Антона.
Anton's
Это
hand.
то, что делают небесные твари.
That's what celestial beings
Направляют, не
do. They guide
участвуя
without
лично.
taking action themselves.
Антон сделал мне трепанацию черепа.
Anton trin-panned my skull,
А потом я помогла ему
and then I helped
избавиться
him
от
get rid
голоса.
of that voice in his head.
Вам нужна помощь, на! Поедем обратно, на! Таблетки у тети доктора!
Таблетки не спасут.
Pills can't save anyone.
Но я могу
But I
тебя
can give you the
исцелить.
cure.
Позволь ангелу
the angel
направить
guide my
мою
hand.
руку. Позволь нам удалить.
Let us remove the parasite. I burrowed a spot on Bayasha's forehead with my eyes, as if I could see through his skin and bone.
Безумцы!
Буквально на днях мы заключили с хранителем сделку.
Just a couple of days, we forged a pact with the Guardian.
Дали слово,
We
что
took an
найдем и
oath to find and
уничтожим
destroy the
остатки
remaining
пожиры.
devourers.
Последний.
You are the last.
Я просто ребенок.
Значит, тебе туда.
Well, then you gotta go there. I pointed at the thickening darkness. The black garage was nestled among the trees, a disgusting black coffin, a meat grinder that traveled the realms. It wandered the area blindly all this time, looking for Bayasha, the little boy who ruined the ritual, the boy who didn't knock on its door. How else did it end up in the middle of a thick forest? Could someone abandon him there during the wild 90s? Could they just forget about its existence, incidentally turning him into a village legend? For a second, that thought seemed scarily plausible. Nasty doubts gripped me once again. Thankfully, a scream distracted me. Bayasha squealed. I slapped him across the face with the back of my hand to keep him
Полина,
down.
топливо!
Polina, fuel! She took a canister out of the trunk. Hurry!
Без этого не обойтись.
Is this really necessary? I stared at the helpless Bayasha, distressed.
Мы столько раз это проговаривали.
We've been over this many times.
Знаю.
I know, but... I could almost read her mind. Are we making a mistake? That was the question that consumed her. Did we come to the forest obsessed with nonsense to kill an innocent man?
Повязаны клятвой.
We're oath-bound.
Выхода нет.
There's no other way.
Смотри туда.
Look here. I pointed at the thicket.
Он смотрит на нас.
He's watching
Он
us.
прекрасен и невыносим одновременно.
He's beautiful and unbearable at the same
Он
time.
самое неправильное, что ты когда-либо видела.
He's the most unnatural thing you'll ever see.
Искривленное пространство, тьма бесконечно далеких планет и сияние умирающих солнц.
Warp space, darkness of the infinitely distant planets, and the light of dying
Пепелище
suns.
вселенных.
The ashes of universes.
Он все.
He's everything and nothing.
Все и ничто.
Everything and nothing. My partner was talking as if she were in a trance. I continued, full of raging joy, as I waved my hands frantically toward the squeaking trees.
Ужаснись тому, насколько грандиозной зловещая его фигура.
Trembling in fear as you gaze upon its grandiose and horrifying
Золотой
figure.
свет окружает.
Golden light
Смотри
envelops
долго,
it.
иначе
Don't look for too
ослепнет.
long or
Оно
you'll go
выглядит
blind.
как женщина,
It
но
has
не
the
имеет
form of a woman,
ничего
but has
общего
nothing
ни
to
с
do with women or
добром,
men.
ни со злом.
Neither with good nor evil. I waved the cross around, tracing chaotic figures in
Столь
the
же
air.
чуждой всему живому, как тайга или звезды в ледяном мраке.
It's as foreign to all the living as Tega or the stars in the icy
И
darkness.
эта разрушительная
And this
сила
destructive power is
на
on our
нашей
side.
А бензин — это святая вода.
And the gasoline is our holy water.
Благословленная
That is blessed by it. I wiped the drool from my chin. Helena nodded slowly and unscrewed the cap. I took the canister from him and poured its contents on Bayasha's head. He screamed as he scratched his own cheek.
Берегись черного гаража! Я был внутри, но... Там нет беса! Там логово маньяка и мертвые дети, на!
I showed him a sad smile.
Теперь маньяк — это ты.
You are the serial killer now.
Ты стал тем
You
самым серийным
you became what you
убийцей.
feared.
Маньяк, на? А кто ты? Не тот, кто похищает и привозит в лес людей!
Ты не обманешь меня, нечистый!
You can't fool me, demon. Bayasha tried to escape, but I grabbed him and dragged him toward the black cottage. The door opened with my help, or the wind simply threw the rusty metal leaf open. I don't care. We'll do what our fate dictates.
Мамочка! Спаси меня! Я хочу к маме!
Polina, who took the second canister out of the trunk, squeezed her eyes shut, her hands were shaking.
Верните меня! Убийца! Я хочу!
Не убоюсь зла!
I will fear no evil.
Страшно! Мамочка!
Ты со мной! Твой жезл и посох!
For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Polina burst out crying as she watched me drag the heart-rendingly bleeding and wriggling Bayasha.
Боженька, а? Помоги!
Какому богу ты молишься, бес?
What god are you praying to, demon?
Полина, смотри!
Watch, Polina. Don't cry. Watch the demon perish. She regained her composure.
Да, я с тобой.
Yes, right. I'm with you.
Малодушие, путь в ад.
Pusillanimity is the path to hell.
Вечные муки.
To eternal torment. Amen. I threw Bayasha into the garage. The flute and the scattered mass were left in the snow, faces of the new generation of beasts. Polina picked them up and threw them into the dark doorway.
Пощадите на! Это же я! Бяшенька!
Исцели его, Боже.
Oh Lord, bring salvation upon him. I took the second canister of Polina and poured gasoline all over the garage. With every cell in my body, I felt the protection of the celestial being. Polina felt it too. We threw our burning matches into the puddle at the same time. Flames engulfed the garage in seconds. We protected her with our hands, turning our mortal enemy into ash. Bayasha screamed in agony with the fire. Polina shuddered from a desperate scream, and her hand reached instinctively toward the red-hot metal of the door. I grabbed her arm and reminded her with a direct look in her eyes. Bayasha is long dead. He can't be saved. He doesn't want to. You know what those shape-lifting animals can do. Shape-shifting animals can do. Yes, I know. You really think Bayasha? Her voice trailed off. Bayasha started bleeding in the oven that the garage became.
Это гибнет дьявол.
The devil is dying there.
Слышишь?
Can you hear the agony? Yes, clinging to life.
Хранитель.
The protector won't let him get out. The angel behind our backs. Determination returned to my partner. I was also filled with the devil-crushing faith.
Лицо его непроницаемо и надменно.
His face is inscrutable and proud. The light of his eyes is even stronger. I felt Polina's hand grab my own, so I clutched my fingers as hard as I could. We stood in front of the huge fire, our shadows melted in the snow.
С пожирателями покончено.
World is safe. The devourers are no more. We did the right thing. The protector promised us oblivion. So, will we forget everything? Will we forget each other too? I'm not losing you. The garage doorway deformed as its belched out flames, ash and screams that were becoming weaker and weaker. The walls and roofs were folding. When I dared to turn around, the giant figure among the trees disappeared. Just like the kids from the Cursed Village, just like the goat that pretended to be Bayasha, just like our memories of what happened were about to disappear. The screaming stopped. I looked into the fire and bit my lower lip so hard it bled because a question popped up in my head among the ringing silence. Could it be that I'm so deranged that I infected Polina with my own madness? Was there ever an angel? Or was there only a boy with a scared illness that stopped taking his meds? And that's when the beast started talking to me. Not a forest one from the depths of his agonized soul. Am I a schizo? Am I mentally ill? Where are my angels? What have I done? It felt like a localized explosion in my head or something similar. When I opened my eyes, I realized I lay on the snow a couple of feet away from a woman I didn't know. The pines towered over us, reaching toward the blue sky. We were surrounded by the thicket, but it didn't look scary. The fact that I didn't know how I got here didn't cause me any distress. The only thing that concerned me was whether the woman was alive, but then she moved and opened her eyes. I've never seen such magical eyes, such a beautiful face. He stared at me in surprise. Following a sudden impulse, I outstretched my hand, and the woman, even though she hesitated for a moment, did the same. Our fingers touched. I smiled at the warmth that spread through my body. The woman smiled back at me. Hey, it's Alia calling. I am so confused. I'm definitely going to look things up. So Bayasha was the goat the whole time? Bayasha was bad? Was he the start of all of it? Because he said something about, oh, it's very coincidental that Bayasha was taken to the Black Garage, but he survived. So he didn't actually survive. He was pretending to be a victim so that he could lure other kids to the garage. And that's why they burned him alive. But they don't remember. So, like, were they possessed? I don't know. I'm definitely going to look it up. But before that, we are going to try the other ending. I want to see what happens if we decide not to hug Polina. This may not really do anything. So what happens if we don't hug her? Polina's crazed smile scared me. It felt like she was enjoying herself and everything that's already happened or was about to happen to us. She always acted like that the entire time I've known her, as if she was possessed. Just like me. My thoughts about the devilish companion inside me was also scary. So the last thing I wanted to do was involve myself with someone as bonkers as me. I moved toward the window further away from Polina and watched her the entire trip, afraid to fall asleep and fall into her delirium again. Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, like not hugging her was a much shorter ending. Okay. Sigma, you ignored Polina? This one was rare. Okay, cool. Deal with the devil. A renowned violinist who was doing her damnedest to keep her life out of the public eye. What is hidden behind the successful facade of a classical music star? Polina has been called the Russian reincarnation of Paganini. But is she willing to sell her soul to keep the truth hidden? Or will she finally reveal what really happened to her husband? While her spouses, the former and the current one, are listed as missing. Polina is performing in the biggest venues of Europe. So let's sift through the most mysterious pages of her biography and find out how sharp a violin bow can be. Wait a minute, her spouses, former and current, are missing? What in the Carol Baskins is Polina? Oh my gosh. So Polina was also evil. She really was. Oh my gosh. She got it from, did it say her mom? Or no, her grandpa. She must have got it from her grandpa. She knows about her grandpa and him being loony. He probably possessed her first, and now she possesses other people. Amazing. Amazing. Is that it for that one? Present day, so there's more.
Свет.
Light.
Вы не сказали. Да будет свет, хозяин.
Smart home. You didn't say there may be light, master.
Я, может, и творец, но в моем мире больше темноты.
I may be a creative type, but my world is quite dark.
Просто включи его, душнила.
Let's turn on the light, smartass.
И стал свет.
And there was light. I squinted like I do every day, ready on the inside to see someone else in place of the interior of a wealthy mansion. A wooden shadow-woven house from my past that got destroyed in a fire on that frosty night. But like always, the bright lamps illuminated white plastic, an easel with an unfinished painting. A brand new mansion built far away from my grandma's estate. My bachelor den.
Кофе.
Coffee.
Уже готовлю.
Already on it, master. If not for my diligent friend over there, created with conductors and sensors, I would have been completely alone in this forest. My agent is still in disbelief over the fact that I managed to maintain my sanity in this godforsaken place. Could I be so short-sighted as to fail to notice the chthonic feel of this land? I definitely did not say that right. In reality, only a place like this, reminiscent of the dark house I used to live in, could help me create. I drank the coffee. It was tasteless. Snowflakes drifted in the air outside the wide windows made of bulletproof glass. It started snowing last night while I was working on my next project. Now the snowfall won't stop for weeks. No, this world was never good, not for me at least. I peered into the thick forest. It surrounded the fortress, built using my specifications and under my strict guidance. Shadows with mannerisms of lurking predators nestled in between the trees. I could almost hear the voices of kids beckoning me to dance under the full moon. A snow-laden graveyard appeared before my eyes. I rehearsed in my mind. Standing there I was. I extended my hand. A 38 gun was hidden under the ledge. My actions were rehearsed, thought out to every detail. Countless rooms conceptually divided. 3 steps to the right and I won't be able to reach the gun. There starts the territory of my other good friend, a straight razor that lay in a hidden compartment under the coffee table. I have around 40 ways to end my life. Knives, ropes. What is that? Strychnine, sulfuric acid, and many more. I acquired fame I always dreamed about, but what did I spend my royalties on? On a prison for a single inmate, and on very rare, especially poisonous snakes that I could let out of the terrarium with the press of a button. This sad lowly end was still better than the horrors that my inner voice promised me. I glanced back at the easel. The painting looked like a window into another world in the center of an ultra-modern living room, and a frosted window was in fact pictured on it, with almost the same view that opened from my wide windows in reality. Then again, what is reality? I only paint during the night and fall asleep exhausted in the morning, leaving my safety concerns to a sophisticated security system. One other thing pictured in the painting is the hands of a boy who is touching the glass. Grime thaws under his finger, and makes visible the clearing in front of the house and the tiny creatures prancing in the ghastly moonlight. Or are those just little whirls, ghosts created by the blizzard? I stood in front of the easel. If I were to strain my eyes, I could discern the reflection in the window. The face of the person who extended his small hands toward the ancient mystery of the forest. No, not his face, an old mask with long ears. My agent once asked me why I have to paint all this depressing stuff. Why I put so much despair and primal horror into them. I retorted as I shuffled ice inside a glass full of whiskey. Are you unhappy with our earnings? Darkness sells. It's always there with us, even if we stuff every inch of our houses with light bulbs. My childhood was a swamp, emanating noxious fog, and I built my house in the marshes. When I start drowning, I'll have dozens of ways to avoid overstaying in this world. I look around the paintings on my walls. Animal masks are the leitmotif of my midnight art. Duplicity, doublethink, giant childish eyes, snaking trails in an endless forest. Mom among the shadows. A feast of meat behind the windbreak. A long time ago, voices in the night called out to the scared boy. Now he grew up and is summoning darkness himself with his paintings. Come, from the forest or from the darkness corners inside the sick mind. I have something for you. Things that hurt, the way you love, but I have no fear to give. I don't care for my own skin, and my family is far away. My father is alive, but I had to reduce our interaction to a few phone calls a year to keep him safe. Maybe
оно придет сегодня.
Maybe it will come today.
Вы говорите это каждый день, хозяин.
You say that every day, master.
Ты здесь, чтобы слушать.
You're
Есть
here to-
какие-то новости?
You're here to listen. Any news?
Статья, которая может заинтересовать вас.
There's an article that might interest you.
Гений мертвых пространств. Московская выставка Антона Петрова.
A genius of dead spaces. Anton Petrov's Moscow art installation.
Хотите послушать?
Do you want to listen?
Валяй, желательно с конца.
Whatever. Just give me the closing
Те,
lines.
кто надеялся увидеть художника лично, ждало разочарования.
Disappointment awaited those who hoped to see the artist in person.
Отшельник остался верен себе и не покинул таежное пристанище.
The hermit artist stayed true to his name and stayed in his Tega haven.
Хватит.
Enough.
Криминальные сводки.
Crime reports.
Как обычно, ограничиться вашим районом.
Shall I limit them to your area as usual?
Ты знаешь.
You know.
Теги, пьяные драки, семейное насилие, грабеж.
Tags, drunken brawls, domestic violence, looting.
Хорошо.
Good. Whoa, that's a neat picture though. Whoa. The critics dissecting my paintings always politely leave out the most important thing. But that verdict can read between the lines. They think the author is insane. Or they're missing the important part. The creator of the Cold Hollow Mother and the Cradle of the Black Garage has a basement full of TNT. The system is programmed to lock it automatically. If I were to go downstairs and start losing control, I can just say the password and the explosive will go off. Bam! And all my scribbles burn to the ground. Its only purpose is to help me buy even more elaborate ways to violently end my existence. You want to get to my sister, huh? You foul creature inside my head? I'll feed you her portraits. The little girl that is a reoccurring character in Petrarch's paintings is the only 100% bright spotted in his usually suit black artwork, or so say the critics. But the beautiful girl playing a violin that was featured in the Snow-Laden series most likely represents the bitterness toward lost happiness. In this case, the critics nailed it. But they also didn't mention what was behind my heroines. Behind the canvases inside the house that I will never share with Polina. Securable vaults with deadly weapons for the artist. I walked to the window once again, staring at the floating snowflakes in the eternal twilight behind
Может
them.
ли быть, что я чего-то не предусмотрел?
Is it possible I've still missed a scenario or two?
Анализирую.
Analyzing.
Теги. Затворник. Суицидальные мысли. Оружие.
Tags. Hermit. Suicidal idolation. Guns.
Согласно данным сети, такое поведение может свидетельствовать о сильном психическом расстройстве.
According to the web, your behavior can be a symptom of a very serious mental condition.
Это реально!
All of this is real. Ooh, the owl. Okay, that is a neat painting. I poked the canvas with my finger. My world stared at me with scorching yellow eyes of a night hunter.
Хотите узнать телефон психологической помощи?
Do you want me to dial the suicide prevention hotline for you?
Хочу, чтобы ты заткнулась и сделала еще кофе.
I want you to shut up and make me more coffee.
Не иллюзорно.
Grinding the beans. I looked at the forest, clenching and relaxing my restless fingers, licking my lips unblinking. Then my gaze shifted to the snowflakes, then closer to the window, on the person reflected in it. I tell myself that this scrawny evil man is normal. I drink all these medications that the shrinks prescribe me. I wiped clean many couches at the office of the local Zygmunt freaking Freud. I know it happened many years ago. I can perceive what's real and what's not. I have a journal where I write down all my thoughts. This is all real.
Получено новое сообщение.
You've got a new message. As much as I anticipated death, I also waited on the news from private investigators. I didn't only monitor the events happening in my local area, but I also hired professionals to find my old friends. My gaze slid across the animal mask painted with oil. I worked with bloggers, ufologists, cryptonologists. All sorts of freaks specializing in paranormal activities. All I've got from them so far were just delusional urban legend, along with AI-generated pictures and videos. I opened my tablet. It was a mail from a faraway place, the dark side of the web. Its author was anonymous. I would have drawn him as a worm breathing in the rotting flesh of the dark web. The email stated, I think this is what you've been looking for. Be careful. This video was taken by a group of tourists who went missing in the Taiga. Pay me in crypto to the usual wallet. The anonymous knew that this employer would pay him well, but it was too early to celebrate. My prey slipped away from the traps I set so many times before. Let's see what the net I cast into the sea brought this time. I opened the video. It showed the ancient Taiga forest. I peered into the darkness between the pines, my throat parched. Into the same spot the people surrounding a tent were looking. What made them crawl out of their sleeping bags in the middle of the night? I raised the volume.
Говорю вам, я слышала детский смех.
I'm telling you, I heard kids laughing. Wind howled from the speaker, chilling my skin. The rays from flashlights crossed, poking the darkness in terror. They illuminated the trees, their gigantic trunks that surrounded the tourists. The night hollowed and crunched with the windbreak as if someone was getting closer to the camp. Someone is standing there. Where? The person filming turned the camera toward the thicket. Someone huge! Snow fell between the camera and the encroaching shadows. The pause lasted for an eternity. And the howling wind and the panting of the sacred bunch of people, there was something else mixed in a gentle and ingratiating sound. I breathed in through clenched lips. What are they looking at? The flute's melody created bloody images in my mind. Shadow carnival under the hungry moon. The picture lurched, the trees flashed. I didn't want to hear the tourists scream and the bees howls as they cracked the branches. I sent the tablet flying into the wall and it smashed into plastic pieces. I need to calm down. I need to get that music of the ancient forest out of my head. What did I see? Nothing. It was just a play, a student movie for one viewer, rich and naive enough to pay for such an obvious fake. They even splurged on some good visual effects. Gotta ease my mind, don't panic, forget. I went to the easel and picked up the brush, dipped it in paint, and concentrated on picking the perfect place on the canvas. Then did a single stroke and looked in the window. I saw the room and the easel in the reflection. And the creature standing beside it. Red paint dipped from the brush in its hand. It was finishing the painting in my place. The creature somewhat resembled a bunny with long ears. It's here. It has come for me. I staggered back, ready to grab the gun, but the room was empty. The usual headache was back. I know who I am. I know who paints my works. I know why I need the weapon. I destroy this house. Please specify the command. Password, please. My heart was beating at its limit. The panic attack completely cornered me. I need to calm down. Password, please. I pressed my palms against my ears. Snowflakes swirled outside, and I felt like my house was inside one of those glass balls with bits of styrofoam. Shake it, and it will show, and it will snow. I'm not insane. I need to pick the right path. But what is right?
Назовите пароль.
Password, please. I looked up and opened my mouth. But now that I'm sure they've returned, my suicide will have to wait. I'll spend all my wealth on publishing a book, a biographic comic masked as fiction. It will be the most impressive print run ever. It will get translated into all known languages, and if needed, the author will also pay for a movie adaptation. I'm not alone. Other victims of this darkness exist out there. They need support. The comic book will help obsessed people like me to deal with the Tega plague. It will guide the hunters to the tracks of elusive demons and animal masks. I won't be scared into silence. I finally have a goal. I barely use my drawing tablet, but when it comes to popularizing the demonic mask of the Forest Master, this tool is way more reliable compared to oil paint. Let's leave the brushes to purists. The stylus is sliding across the screen. Rectangles and squares get filled with silhouettes, bubbles with words. This is my story. Okay, so you can see him putting his glasses on. The wind clouded the window all night long and wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. When the clock struck midnight, the boy stood up from his bed and went to the window. The forest, the snow, and the dancing creatures all basked in ghastly moonlight. They froze as soon as they felt somebody else was watching them and turned toward the house. Oh, and those were the stories that he made. Interesting. There's Bayasha and Ramka. Huh. It's really sad that he wanted to kill himself, but then he ended up finding another purpose, I guess, but he became so obsessed. He definitely has PTSD for sure, on top of, we already know he has schizophrenia, but I definitely think he has PTSD now as well, which is why he's trapped in his house, and he has all of these things to kill himself with, and any noise he hears sends him into a panic. That's such a sad ending for Anton. But the ending where he was with Polina was a sad ending too, because she possessed him, and then they became evil together. Now, it's time to dive into the ending that we have been waiting for, where we choose Alyssa. So let's go back to the fight and see if that ending is a happier one for Anton. Okay, last time we smashed, now we're putting it on. We're choosing Alyssa. Wait. Did I hit the wrong thing? I don't think so. The axe traced an arch through the air and slammed into the ground near the mask. That strike slashed the backbone on my past. I fooled myself for too long. I ran from my own shadow. My stubbornness almost killed Alya and probably killed my parents.
Алиса права. Среди людей есть чудовища, заслуживающие самой худшей участи.
Alyssa was right. Among humans, there are beasts that deserve the worst possible fate.
Участи встретиться в лесу с такими, как мы.
That fate is meeting someone like us in the forest.
Их не защитят глупые заговоры старух в гробах.
No stupid chance from hags and coffins will protect them.
Их не спасет Бог моего
My
папы.
dad's God won't save them either.
Здешний Бог — это стая.
The only God here is the
И
pack,
я
and I'm a part of it. I reach for the mask with my numbing fingers. That's right. My fingers touched the immeasurably ancient shell. It was more ancient than the pines that grew from the ashes of worlds. It was more ancient than the creatures that breathed in the burial ravines.
Хорошо.
Good. Through the slits in the long-eared face, I saw two blurry Alyssas and didn't even have time to say goodbye to my previous life.
Почувствуй.
Feel it? The mask touched my skin. I felt like I submerged my face in boiling water, but it felt pleasant somehow. The smell of soil filled my entire being. I saw a trail of bunny footprints in the snowy field, a dotted line that led toward the forest. I saw the roots that constantly moved, intertwined, growing out of my trembling heart. I saw the black branches that reminded me of a ladder that led to the moon that hung up in the raging skies. Snowflakes melted on my hide. My undercoat was full of fleas, and I wanted to scratch myself with my hind leg. I forced myself to think about my sister, about the wind that wandered inside the tree hollows, about the eventual linting when the old me would peel off with the patches of dirty fur. about the sweet berries in the dark that I could grab from the branches with my lips.
Я знала, что она будет тебе к лицу. Как долго ты откладывал, Антоша.
I knew you'd look good in it. You put it off for so long, Antosha.
Антоша. Чье это имя?
Whose name was that?
Зачем вообще нужны имена?
What use was there for
Зверю
names?
нужны лапы, которые понесут сквозь ночь, и зубы, чтобы скалиться, и слюна, чтобы смачивать жесткое мясо.
A beast needs but paws that can carry it through the night, the teeth that could show, and the saliva to soften the tough
Зверю
meat.
нужна прыть, а не клички, позволяющие людям отличать одного зверя от другого.
The beast needs agility, and not monikers that humans use to distinguish one beast from another.
Я неотличим. Я сольюсь с тенями. Я стану частью стаи.
I'm the same. I will meld into the shadows. I'll become part of the pack. I shook my head.
Пойдем. Нужно позаботиться о твоей сестре.
Now let's go. We need to take care of your sister. Alia. I need to get her out of this place. I turned around toward the place behind the wall of swooping down snowflakes where a police UAZ stood, smelling of machine oil and childish fear.
Можно поиграть немного.
We could go for a little game.
Прижаться к стеклам масками и посмотреть, узнает ли нас Оля.
Press our masks against the windows and see if Alia recognizes us. It was so fun pranking humans in the graveyard. I forced myself to move. A paw, a hand of course. It was a hand that pulled on the passenger door.
Все хорошо.
It's... Alia screamed at the top of her lungs, but immediately cut herself off. She went limp as she lost consciousness. Instead of her savior, she saw monsters trying to get into the car. Creatures of winter in the forest
Пусть
thicket.
отдохнет. Она просто не привыкла к твоему новому лицу.
Let her rest. She's just not used to your new face. I carefully took my sister out of the car, amazed at how edible she was.
Съедобно.
Ugh. Inside me, just like that parasite inside Zolka. Like the darkness inside the black garage, something ancient smirked and spun its long ears. The mildewed mask tightened my skin. It was just a mask for a morning costume party.
Ты веришь в утро?
Oh, you believe in mornings, gloated my inner voice. I can take it off whenever I
Но
want.
ты ведь не хочешь, зверёныш.
But you don't want to, you beast. My eyes wetted as icy fluff flew into them. I fished a half-forgotten scene out of the fog. An older brother holding up his tiny little sister so she could place a ruby red star on top of a Christmas tree. I carried Alia through the rows of graves, my feet weighed down by the snow. I carried her toward the asphalt, dark and ice-encrusted like the creature that settled inside me.
Слышишь?
Hear that? I couldn't hear anything but the howling wind and the quick thumping of my heart. Yet my nostrils caught the strengthening smell of iron and gasoline. A car is moving toward us from the darkness.
Оставь её здесь. С ней всё будет нормально.
Leave her here. She's gonna be all right. I thought that if I let my sister go now, I would sever the last thread of connecting to my previous life. Alyssa looked at me with encouragement. I lowered Alia on the side of the road. I would have stood over her like an inanimate object, like a stone, a dusty stuffed bunny from a regional museum if not for Alyssa's orders. Run! I answered that call with every muscle in my body. I was a Tetris piece that couldn't be stopped, only rotated and guided into a pile of previously placed pieces. In 3 big jumps, we crossed the road and the scary forest. The nice forest, the corpse forest, the magic forest. It locked us into its embrace. Orange car lights that looked like owl eyes floated out from the darkness. Alyssa and I stood shoulder to shoulder in the rousing twilight and watched as Dad's BMW took a sudden turn toward the side of the road and screeched to a halt before the little girl on the asphalt. Joy and grief mixed inside me when I saw Dad jumping out of the car. He was alive, but forever lost for me. Barred with the tiny brush branches, separating him from us, 2 creatures of the Russian forest. I noticed my dad holding a gun. Would he shoot his own son if I were to walk into the road right now? Would he recognize me or take me for a monster just like Alia?
Я с тобой. Очнись, Олечка. Все в порядке, папа здесь.
I'm here. I'm with you. Wake up, baby girl. It's okay. Daddy is here. As Dad picked Alia up, his anxious gaze stopped on the wall of pines on our side of the road. Right on me. I could smell his desperation, his stupefaction. I knew he couldn't see me. I knew that I would never see my parents and my sister ever again. Dad then placed Alia in the passenger seat of his car, slammed the doors shut, and drove backwards. That wasn't backwards. I watched them turn the wheel and drive away. Forever. The blizzard consumed both the car and the entire world of a boy named Anton. Alyssa's finger sought out my numb hand and squeezed it tight, reminding me of the fact that from now on, I had a new family.
Тьма бесконечна. В ней еще столько всего интересного.
Let's go. Darkness is endless. There is so much interesting stuff out there. I didn't protest. We followed the trail of two dead kids, Polina and Romka. So Polina died on this one. A fire grew behind the tree trunks. The house I once called home was engulfed in flames. We walked out of the thicket and went around the base of the monumental torch. Its beams cracked as they oozed sap, and its roof collapsed, causing an explosion of sparks. The fire feasted on the past, and its flames licked the low skies with their giant red tongues. I looked at Alyssa, intercepted with her intense stare. Scarlet glint reflected on the fox mask and in her eyes. My partner's figure was surrounded by a purple aura. I saw the fire in her and sensed molten geysers rise inside of me. I had never seen anything more beautiful than this masked girl. This is absolute freedom, I thought. This entire forest is only for the two of us. Everything else burned down.
Я умру, если останусь стоять.
I'll die if I keep standing here. Did I really say that out loud? Then let's run, dummy. And we ran, with only our shadows. Pioneers of this new and yet unimaginably old world, being faster than us in the entire universe. Only the moon was higher than us. The master was dead. We were our own masters now. We could play in the shadows. We could roll around until we dropped dead. We could bite each other. We could devour.
Алиса, постой!
Alyssa, wait up!
Только не говори, что устал.
Oh, don't tell me you're tired.
Устал? Я могу бежать 1000 лет!
Tired? I could run for 1,000 years.
А я миллион.
And I could run for 1,000,000.
Мне хорошо, но...
I feel great, but...
Ну, простудился? Подхватил ангину? Влюбился в кого-то?
What but? Did you catch a cold? Did you fall in love?
Что? Нет, не знаю. Мне как-то странно. Как будто внутри меня кто-то разговаривает.
What? No, I don't know. I feel weird. As if someone is talking inside me, inside my head.
А я уже разволновалась.
Oh, that. You got me worried for a second. Alyssa's palms landed on my shoulders, and I immediately stopped caring about anything but her voice, her eyes still full of fire. As if we were surrounded by flames, as if the reality itself was burning, like that stupid house at the edge of the village.
Я обещаю. Голос затихнет.
That will pass. I promise you. The voice will subside.
Нужно только бежать. В ногах вся правда.
You just need to rest. Your legs carry the truth, haven't you heard? I wanted to ask which voice would subside, of the long-eared shadow in my split consciousness or my own. But it was no longer the time to ask questions. It was time for games. The blizzard subsided, and then came the dull gray afternoon that looked like a corpse oiled up by the morgue staff. We jumped from the branches and tumbled in the snow. We screamed with unbridled joy. We climbed tall trees to peep at the children that walked down the forest trail. They clung to each other and reminded me of someone, but I couldn't remember who. Such sweeties.
Сладенькие. Напугаем? Совсем немножко.
Such sweeties. Let's scare them just a little bit. But we couldn't stop at a little bit. We got too engrossed in lurking in the semi-dark behind the pines and calling out to the kids with silly voices.
Эй, вы!
Hey, you!
Какие смешные у вас маски!
Your masks are so funny.
Маски заблудившихся человечков.
The masks of lost little humans.
А вдруг в лесу водятся хищные звери?
What if there are hungry beasts lurking in the forest?
Вдруг вас надумают съесть?
What if they decide to eat you?
Цап! Цап! Цап!
A girl we didn't know stumbled and fell. A pale boy helped her up. Part of me wanted to continue playing, to chase the kids and take off their masks, even though I saw no masks, and my own heart throbbed pleasantly. I took Alyssa by the hand. Let them go.
Мы просто баловались.
It was just a prank.
Знаю. Но давай поклянемся.
I know, but let's swear to each other.
А как?
How do we do that?
Приложи руку к сердцу.
You gotta put your hand on your heart. Alyssa pressed her palm against my chest. My heart pumped hot blood through my
Можно и
body.
так. Мы клянемся. Повторяй.
This can also work. We swear. Come on, repeat after me.
Мы клянемся
We
Не
swear
обижать беззащитных.
to never hurt the defenseless.
никогда и ни за что.
Under any circumstances.
Клянемся охотиться только на чудовищ.
We swear to only hunt monsters. Alyssa squinted and raised her fox
Ты
nose.
чего?
What's wrong?
Кстати, о чудовищах.
Speaking of monsters,
чувствуешь?
can you feel it? I sniffed around, discerning 1,000 different things with my heightened sense of smell. There in the darkness of the short winter day, a hedgehog that woke up under the bushes, a dead tit, stiffening in the ravine, a stocky man running from building to building.
Это тот. С зайчьей губой.
That's him, the hair lip guy.
Предлагаю новую забаву.
I suggest a new fun activity.
Охота на монстра?
Monster hunting?
Ловишь на лету.
You're a fast learner. Our prey was agile, but that only made it more desirable. When the sun dipped below the horizon, we fell to all fours, exchanged glances, licked our teeth, and then in unison shifted our gazes to the forest clearing. The killer somehow managed to get out of his cell. He sat on a stump, one of his hands rubbing his shaved forehead and the other clutching a phone that looked like the one Mulder used to call Scully to tell her about another supernatural crime. The voice in my head said that supernatural things happen in this enchanted forest too. The bunny inside me stomped around in anticipation. Ugh. My stomach churned. The hair-lip guy stood on a sports bag with one of his boots. His gaze darted around the bushes, but he couldn't see us.
Алло? Граф? Слышишь меня? Да, все путем, на воле.
Hello? Count? Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm hunky-dory, out of jail.
Вижу цель, не вижу преград.
Nothing can stop me.
Как? Положил мусоров, как терминатор из волыны.
Duh, I mowed down the cops like a fucking Terminator.
Да шучу, не серчай.
Come on, I'm joking. Don't be mad.
Там в участке кипиш был. А мусорок, которому ты кашлянул, меня выпустил.
There was a
Ты
mess in the
слышишь?
station. The cop, you softened up, let me go. Can you hear me?
Да, инструменты вернули. А что толку? Казначей, походу, слинял.
Yeah, I've got my tools back, but what's the point? The bookkeeper bolted. The bookkeeper? Suddenly I remembered. He was talking about my dad. Could my dad, my kind and smart dad, have business with somebody like this monster? As if to confirm my hunch, the killer spoke in a hoarse whisper.
Дом Петровых сгорел. Спалили хату во всех смыслах.
Petrov's house burned down, exposed in more ways than one.
Не я. Похоже, казначей наш не нам одним дорогу перешел. Прерываешься, слышишь? Ёбаная дыра.
No, not me. I guess our bookkeeper crossed someone else. You're cutting out, can you hear me? This fucking shithole.
Я думал за ним гнать, но местные мою тачку по запчастям разобрали, пока ебалом щелкал в мусарне.
I thought I'd chase him, but the locals scrapped my car for spare parts while I was resting up in the cage.
Даже иконы вытащили, черти. Пфу, ничего святого!
They even
Я в
swept
лесу.
my icons, the demons.
Алло!
Nothing holy in them. I'm in the forest, hello?
Граф, в лесу я! Буду на юг уходить. По любасу менты следом идут.
I'm in the forest, Count. I'll go south. My gut's telling me the cops are on my tail.
Сброшу хвост и за казначеем блядским пойду.
I'll shake him off and go for the fucking bookkeeper.
Не пойдешь.
Oh, you're not going anywhere, the voice in my head retorted. I couldn't help but agree. Wow. So wait, that means our dad is a bad person too, doesn't it? Or our dad was a bad person, but he was trying to get away from that life because he didn't want it. Because I remember his mom and dad arguing, and the mom was like, this is all your fault. So I think he maybe left because that's why they moved. They moved because he didn't want to be part of this anymore. I looked at Alyssa. She nodded, a smile on her face. I pressed my belly to the crusty snow and crawled forward through the bushes. It was time to feed the
Ну ты
beast.
же сам сказал пацаненка Петровского не трогать. Сказал, граф? Гондона Петрова, блядь!
Well, you said not to touch Petrov's little brat, no? Didn't you count? Even though that fucker...
Ноготок бы сковырнул, зуб вырвал, и сразу бы узнали, где пахан его.
I'd pluck out one of his nails or teeth, and we'd have learned where his old man went in a jiffy.
Сейчас ты все узнаешь.
Oh, you're about to learn, I thought, arching my back in anticipation.
Будет тебе мой ноготок.
You'll get my nails.
Будет тебе.
And my teeth. My mind wandered above the snowy mounds like the camera moving above the graves in that TV report. I pressed my special face into the gnarled bark. I looked to the side to avoid losing sight of the killer's profile. When he spoke, the short hair on his temples moved ever so slightly. His Adam's apple moved up and down. I wiped off my chin after I realized saliva was dripping down from it.
От школы шел и не один раз, только его следы исчезали, будто их зверье заметало. Ты слышишь?
I tailed him, Count, multiple times from school to home, but all his tracks would be gone, almost as if beast covered them. You hear me? I hear you.
Ты тут?
You there? This is gonna feel so good. Sweet ribbon. I'm here, my edible, my cornered, my meatball. Your heart is pounding, pumping your blood inside your arteries. Ooh, I imagine that ball beating in his chest, and I wanted to press my lips against it. Its ventricles, atria, and whatever else it consisted of. That red heart, just like in biology books. Like in cooking books written for monsters. Hair-lip guy was within reach. I would jump and tear into his clothes, his skin, his muscles. But I tamed my emotions and slowly walked into the clearing. Darkness had completely enveloped us, but he saw me thanks to the moon shining in the sky over the glade. Monsters have sharp eyes, and he was a monster, not because of his hair.
Погоди-ка, граф. Тут кое-что интересное. Я перезвоню.
Wait a minute, Count. Something came up. I'll call you back. His surprised gaze struck me, and he slid the phone in his pocket, then slowly bent down toward the bag and fished in its innards. He acted like I was some sort of forest critter he didn't want to scare off.
Ну, привет. А чё это у нас за бал маскарад, а?
Well, hello there. What's up with this masquerade, huh? His hand slipped out of the bag and quickly hid behind his back. That big, stupid human thought that his weapon would scare me. I just stood there, my eyes downcast, all innocent, and looked at him as he got
Что
closer.
ты делаешь в лесу в такое время? Ты один? Я тебя знаю.
What are you doing in this forest? Are you alone? Do I know you? A red tail flashed in the bushes behind his bulky figure. I bit on my cheeks from the inside to stop myself from laughing. There was a tinge of worry in the killer's voice.
Зачем тебе эта маска? Ты же сын Петрова, верно? Или нет?
Why do you need this mask? You're Petrov's son, right? No. His free hand reached out toward me, froze in the air, continued on his path toward my screeching jaws. I let his fingers touch my true face. I wasn't afraid anymore. Let me take a... Look, drowned in the crunching of his bones. The killer yanked his hand back and held it up to his eyes. His wrist was painted scarlet with the blood that quickly drenched his sleeve. Hairlip guy was stunned as he stared at the stumps left in place of his fingers. I chewed in a hurry. Enjoying the delicacy I've never tried before. Monster meat. And even though it wasn't tender, my strong molars made quick work of the skin, the bones, and the gristle.
Сука!
I was amazed at how tasty he was for being such a nasty guy. I didn't even notice how he aimed the gun at my forehead with his intact hand. Alyssa jumped out of the shadows and hung onto the screaming man. His legs gave way. I watched from the sidelines as two masked creatures, two beautiful hungry beasts, rushed toward the fumbling body and started tearing it apart with their snow-white fangs. Like piranhas, they peeled off the muscles from the bones, chewed down on its sinews. The killer hit them with his intact fist, but they didn't feel pain. He tried to run, but his foot and an untied boot got left in the clearing. Threads of skin stretched from his foot to his leg. The killer fell face first into the bloody mush, turned to his back, and stared at the crimson mass of the predators with crazy eyes. He mumbled something, but it took me some time to make out the words.
Господи Иисусе, избави меня от зла!
Ha! That's rich coming from him. Rescue me, Lord, from evil people.
Как думаешь?
Will he rescue him?
Сейчас посмотрим.
We're about to find out. Oh my gosh, look at them. They look crazy. They look crazy. Hey, that is the bunny from the beginning of the game, the intro of the game. So he was never supposed to be the scary creature. That's only if he let his mind go that way, or if he let Polina or the other evil people corrupt him, this is his true form. He actually looks kind of cute. Is that odd? He doesn't look creepy. We raised our faces toward the sky, as if waiting for a lightning that would come down on us as the divine punishment for our sins. There was no god in the sky, just a primitive pagan moon. The killer wept, covering myself with what was left. The killer wept, covering himself with what was left of his wrists.
Силою благодати твоей отврати и удали всякие злые несчастья, действуемые по наущению дьявола!
By the power of thy grace, turn away and remove all evil acts at the instigation of the devil.
Антон, ты действуешь по наущению дьявола.
Anton, are you acting at the instigation of the devil?
Вроде бы нет.
I don't think so. You?
Не похоже.
Not really.
Господи, услышь меня!
God, hear my prayers. Ooh, oh my gosh. Creepy. I leaned in to engrave in my mind the grimace of fear on his mangled face. Oh, never mind. That is still our true form. Okay, I guess I should have known, because we're still evil at the end of the day. Or we're a monster. That was cooler than Disneyland. This was our own Disneyland of pain, here in the hungering darkness.
Тебя не услышат, а вот ты послушай. Я здесь Бог. Это наш лес. Мы его санитары.
Nobody will hear you, but you will listen to me. I'm the god here. This is our forest, and we're its orderlies.
Теперь можешь перестать молиться. Можешь
Stop praying now. Just keep on screaming. Whoa. And scream he did until he no longer had his vocal cords. Snow melted from the bounteous amounts of hot nectar. Ugh. Well, I didn't need to see that. Mass beasts ate human flesh, scooped out innards, and played with their food before shoving the juicy bits into their open maws. And then I completely merged with one of the feasting creatures. Yes, it was I who pulled out a muscly heart from the mess of broken ribs, and communed with its sweetness in the name of the pack, in the name of the dark, in the name of the intoxicating freedom. Alyssa squealed from happiness. We danced in blood, and the patches of skin under the moon, full like a belly stuffed with meat. We danced on the bones and jumped up to the sky. She stopped and looked at me with her bottomless eyes, in which I loved to drown in so much. I wanted to draw her, wild, unstoppable, perfect, but I couldn't remember how to hold a pen. I struggled with my vocal apparatus too. I had to cough up a ball of fur first, switch my attention to my side, and bite it a couple of times to chase away the annoying fleas. My mind was like outer space, in which names would flash from time to time. I could still remember Alya, who were Vova, Katia, Roma. Did I find a friend called Simon? Or did I have a friend called Simon? Or was that the name of my dad? I traced my animal face with my paw.
Что-то гложет тебя, милый?
Is there something gnawing at you, darling?
Я боюсь, что забуду.
I'm scared I'll forget.
Забудешь?
You'll forget?
Я боюсь, что когда наступит весна, я окончательно стану зверем и не узнаю тебя.
I'm scared that come spring I'll turn into an animal and will no longer be myself. She reached out to me and rubbed my cheek with her fingers. There was so much compassion in her act that I couldn't stop myself from covering her wrist with mine and pressing it even harder into my flaming hot face.
Разве это можно забыть? Разве можно забыть все, что случилось с нами?
Can that really be forgotten? How can we forget things that happened between us?
Звери помнят.
Do animals remember?
Весной и жарким летом, осенью и лютыми зимами, в логовах и на охоте, у водопоя и в период линьки, я буду рядом.
Come spring or scorching summer, come autumn or harsh winter, and their lairs and on the hunt, while drinking water or during linting, I'll be with you. I dreamed for her touch, and her gaze to last forever. But she pulled away her hand. I knew what to do. That knowledge lived inside me, and the foreign voices on the other hand were gone. Either my inner bunny went into hibernation, or we did become one after all, both on the outside and on the inside. Many moons have passed before the air was filled with the smells of spring. Whoa, look at the colors now. A terrifying summer that changed our bodies will have a much harder time enduring was creeping closer. We needed to shapeshift, to shed our old skin and wait out the heat in the shade of the ancient forest. Alyssa and I turned our backs toward each other. You need to believe.
Я верю.
I do.
Иди и будь собой.
Go and be yourself. We both took a step away from each other at the same time toward the nascent light of the unknown day. Our feet slipped from our shoes and our socks slid down. We stepped onto the snow with our bare heels, but it was a pleasant feeling to rid oneself from the shackles of civilization. A beastly shadow fell on the ground in front of me. In its amazing silhouette, I saw black gaps in eternally green grass stretching from the soil toward the sun. The shadow moved its ears. I heard the ringing of pitter-patter and the singing of birds returning from their travels. The shadow sniffed around, my nostrils filled with the aroma of fresh berries on the faraway glades, the smell of snowdrops and pine needles. I knew that Alyssa was studying her own shadow behind me, and her shadow was probably flapping its fluffy tail in anticipation. One more step and I slipped out of my clothes, shedding them like old skin. I fell to all fours. I ran toward the light that beckoned me, but stopped at the edge of the clearing and turned around. Alyssa also looked at me over her shoulder. Our eyes met under the permanently changing skies and the endless forest. Before running off into the thicket, I asked her in my mind,
Смогу ли я узнать тебя, если увижу?
will I know it's you if I see you again? And then I realized there was no force in the world that could make us forget.
И помни, со мной ты в безопасности.
And remember, you're safe as long as you're with me.
Мальчик, смотри, я снимаю свое лицо.
So they had to go their separate ways? Is it because she's a fox and he's a bunny? And, you know, obviously, like, foxes eat bunnies?
Я становлюсь голодной, я становлюсь лисой. Ветер уносит ресницы, глаза и губы.
Path of Darkness, you chose the guise of a bunny. Love recipe. Hello, Alia. Your name is quite famous among the TikTok community. And that's because your kids are in the top 10 of the most successful influencer in Russia. Their profile boasts a whopping 19 million follower count. How does it feel to be a younger mother of a full-time social media stars? I can't complain. They may be stars on the internet, but offline they're normal kids with all their advantages and little quirks. Like, you know, they can become too fussy sometimes. Do you support the social media careers of your daughter and son? Wholeheartedly. I also advise other parents to do the same. Don't stand in the way of your kids' creative endeavors. Help them grow and they'll be eternally grateful. What's the secret behind your star family? Can you share it with us? Why, it's love, of course. Okay, I'm so confused with why this is called Love Recipe and it's saying, hello, Alia. She's famous among the TikTok community. She has kids that are the top 10 most successful influencers in Russia. I'm so confused what this has to do with what the game was about. Why do we care that she was a top social media influencer? And that doesn't even make sense. Like, Anton becoming a famous artist, that makes sense because it literally told us how much he loved art and he was good at drawing. Polina being a successful musician makes sense. We know that she was amazing at violin and she loved music. But Alia didn't, I don't know. I don't think this makes sense. Maybe it's going to explain it. No, we don't get like a present day like we did with the other ones. Weird. Well, that was it, I guess. And that wraps up our Tiny Bunny journey. I know I didn't get every single ending in the game, but I feel like I got a lot. I feel like I got a really nice handful of endings. And I think that this is a great place to end our Tiny Bunny journey. I really did enjoy this game. Thank you so much for coming with me on this journey and helping me to uncover some of the endings, but also helping me to understand. This game was honestly a masterpiece. This was the first novel game I have ever played, and I really, really enjoyed it. This was fantastic. I'm still confused with some of the endings. I understand a little more. I think the biggest thing I'm confused with is the serial killer. So if he's the serial killer, what about the monsters? What about the forest master? How did he come to be? Is it really what Bayasha and Ramka said? It's because they were playing with black magic and that's what brought the monsters that's what brought the monsters to the forest. But why isn't Alyssa a monster? Why did Alyssa choose to save Anton if she was technically a monster? Because when the forest master was alive, she still chose to protect us. So does that mean the flute must not have had that much of a hold on her like it did the other animals? So I'm really confused. Why did she choose to protect Anton? And are they monsters? The killer, the killer's the monster. So the guy that Anton ate, he was really luring kids into the black garage. I am still very confused with who the enemies are, to be honest. I still think the game was entertaining and I enjoyed it, but there are so many things that I still don't understand. So if you have more understanding and you're able to clarify that for me, that would be amazing. Otherwise, thank you again for being here. I hope you enjoyed my playthrough of this, and I hope I see you for my next videos.